Okay, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. So I've adjusted my chart, as you may notice. I did have the NQ on here as well, but I found just this chart I was looking at just wasn't big enough, so I have put it above my head at the moment. But what I'm going to do is get an overlay I might do it later, an overlay for OBS, so I can still have my chart, but I can put other screens, charts from other screens onto OBS, so you guys can see it, but I still get to look at my screen. So I'm just looking at this at the moment. We got a leg down, 2 attempts higher, so the NQ is also starting to look bearish, so we're just going to keep an eye on this at the minute. We've got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. I like the fact that we've come up here, we've made a new high, and it looks to me like we're ranging. So I'm just going to
order submitted.
Put an order there just in case we've got no news. Market is open in about a minute and a half. But the setup looks okay, so we're just going to see how it finishes. And see how we get on here. I was kind of hoping the market would open before this bar finishes. Let's see what happens here. Okay, let's just get rid of it. I'm not sure about this now. Okay, Nomad, how you doing, buddy? Happy Monday to you. Hakitri, how you doing, buddy? So, I kind of like that, actually. 2 legs up. We got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Does look to me like we're ranging. We've had a channel up here, we've had a break, we've had a new high, and it is finding support right the way along there. So maybe it's just retesting that before we push down. It's hard to say at the moment. Let's just have a look, see how we get on here. Okay, market is open. Let's just have a look. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. I feel nice and relaxed. I had that loss, $425 on Friday, but I walked away. No issues with that. So many times I'd have carried on trading that, but I didn't. I've just left it, so I seem to be in the right place. Let's do this absolutely right. How you doing, Kev? So I got mixed feelings here that the NQ does look like we're working down. It's hard to say at the moment, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. We seem to have 2 legs down, 2 legs up. See if we can end up with a lower high. Maybe trap some longs, we'll see. But the NQ is looking bearish at the moment. It definitely looks like the top of a range here. But it is early days. Leg up, leg up. Let's see if we can get a lower high here. Okay, possible fail second entry short, trap some shorts. I am thinking bearish at the moment because of this support here. Let's see how we get on. Speedy, how you doing, my friend? I wanted to tell you guys something. I can't remember what it was now. I'll have a talk about it in a bit. I've made some adjustments to my profit. I'll explain to you guys in a bit.
Order submitted.
Let's see how we get on here.
Order cancelled.
shove that down there, actually, out the way a bit more, because I need to be able to close the trade. Let's just leave it there. I think it's okay there. I think it's in the way. So 2 legs up, break. It's hard to say at the moment. This is looking sort of, well, maybe we're just having a couple legs up and retesting this, but the NQ is a bit sideways, but on the bearish side. So, Rodian, how you doing, mate? Good evening for you. It's late evening for you, isn't it? So we got a leg up, a break, new high, definitely formed some support, which is why I drew this range channel. We got 3 touches there, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 touches there. Let's see whether we just have a couple of legs up and clip this and then come down. It's still looking quite bearish, the NQ at the moment. We've got 2 legs down. We do seem to be trying to get up, and it is holding price. If this looks bearish, I think there's a good chance we're going to come down. But it is early. It could go higher. There's always that possibility. There may be something bigger brewing there that we haven't really seen. Yeah, there's always a possibility there may be a bigger channel. It might be a spike and channel. It's hard to say at the moment, but we need to break above this first before I go long, because we've found a ton of resistance. And so far, it's held it again. We'll see how we get on. I watched that, what's it called? Thru last night. Really good film. Equalizer 3. I watched that last night on Prime. Really good film, actually. I do like Denzel Washington. I don't think anybody beats the shit out of people quite as good as Denzel Washington. What a great actor. I didn't realise how old he is. He's 70? 70, 71. What a brilliant actor. He's one of my all-time favourites, actually. And that film was really good. Really enjoyable. I have a feeling this is starting to push up, but it is just a feeling, and it's early days. Maybe it is a spike in a channel. It kind of fits. But it's just a bit too dangerous just to go long here just yet, because this could fail. You could even say there's a... Yeah, it may be safer because we got, let's have a look at this. We take that across, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches there. So it might be safer option just to assume that that is a range, in which case it may fail. So I think going along here, I mean, it could be a bigger channel. That's always a possibility. The daily says it could quite push up. We're sort of bullish at the moment, but obviously with this support here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches, it could go anywhere. Yeah, tomorrow at the office is going to be tough going. What's going on, mate? How do you mean? Have we got news, or just with you personally? Incidentally, this 80% off finishes today, not midnight, at 4:59 Eastern Standard Time. So if you want that 8% off before it finishes, you need to get in 1 minute before the market officially closes. A few minutes ago, you were talking about how it's... Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. 1/3. Wow, yeah. I don't know how you do it, mate. See, I mean, you could sort of trade Asian markets, couldn't you? Let me think, what else could you trade? I mean, you could scalp things like currency, I think, if it's too late. The Nikkei, I think you can scalp the Nikkei. That's more your time, isn't it? On the day. So, like, yeah. That's the thing about different parts of the world. See, I think, personally, UK or sort of Europe is probably ideal. I love the 230. So obviously we've got US, depending on what part of the US is. You know, you may be starting trading at 9:30 or slightly earlier. It could be 6:30. So The thing is, if you're going to learn to trade and you're from the US, I suppose it's a little bit tough. I mean, personally talking about the ES, because it's, you know, it's in your normal working day. Whereas for me, I could still work up to 5:30 UK time and still have a good 3-4 hours to trade or to learn to trade. So I think the UK is in an ideally positioned for the ES and the NQ personally. It's just gone 25 to 3 in the afternoon here, so it's ideal really. No early mornings. Let's face it, not everyone likes early mornings. I'm not a massive early morning person. Your favourite is the ES, yeah. See, it's to be honest with you, it's the only chart apart from currency that I've ever really traded for a long period of time. I've been trading this for a little over 2.5 years now. And I think you do get used to a certain style. I mean, I believe the NQ is very similar, but the only difference is with the NQ when you're used to the ES is the point system. It's completely alien, you know, working out your ticks. It's very easy to bring your stop one tick below this, but it's not that simple on the NQ because you've got to make it bigger because there's like 4 ticks for every 1 ear or something ridiculous like that. So it's a bit tricky. That's what I've found. So this has failed. Let's see if it holds. Because if it does hold around about there for a spike and channel, in fact, tell you what, I don't want to call it a spike and channel just yet, but let's just put that there, just to see if it does react to that line, because you could say it's touched there or bar a tick. I don't think that's neither in or there really. That's fine. Tick. So we've got touches here, touches there, one there. So I think there's a chance that there is a spike in channel. There's no reason why it couldn't be. You know, so far the daily on the daily candle on the daily chart is looking bullish. And I would say, from what I'm seeing on the NQ now, there is quite likely a leg up with 2 legs of correction and another leg up. So I'd like a decent pullback to here, and if we can get that, I think there's a good chance of a leg and another leg up. That's on the NQ. Obviously, that's possible. So the signals are there. This is looking quite bullish at the moment. Call it bull flaggy. So I'd expect that to push up. The daily is looking bullish at the moment. And this is starting to too. So to be fair, I want to come down here, nick that line and push up and get a higher low up here before I think about going, because you just never know. There is a possibility on the NQ it just could be coming up and testing the tops, you know, the highs of the day or the overnight highs. We could come up here. So to assume we're going long just yet and to trade that way, for me personally, is probably a bit too premature. So I'm just going to sit tight. Anyway, I was going to say, I usually have my profit set to 2 points. Now, what I find is I tend to lose my bottle a little bit and come out. So I've looked at my last 25 winning trades, and my average profit is $160. Hey Clay, how you doing, buddy? My average profit is $160, so it's just over 1.5 points. So I am coming out early. Now, I looked through my last 25 trades, and 23 of them made 3 points or more. When I say 3 points, I mean 3.25, because it's got to tick through. 23 made 3 points or more. Only 2 didn't. So what I think I'm going to do is start going for 3 points, because if I had gone for 3 points, I've wrote it all down here. The numbers generally don't lie. Now, obviously, it's got to be a good setup. If I'd have gone to 3 points, so let's say my last 25 trades, and I'm talking about ones before this, $4,200 profit. If I'd have gone for 3 points, $6,100, so it's over a third more. So it's a no-brainer for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The first 11 trades made 3 points. Over 3 points. than the second trading day, so I'm much better off. And what I will say is, if you look at people like Taylor from Top Pick Trader, he tends to go for 3 to 4 points a lot of the time. Sometimes he'll go for 2. I mean, if he's going along and there's only 2 points available, then it doesn't make sense to go for more. Okay, so let's see. That may trap some longs there. It's looking bullish up there. Now, I wouldn't take that personally because you're going right into that resistance. It's not to say it won't rocket up, but I think that's a bit dangerous. So I'm hoping that this... you change your target profit. Yes, mate, yeah. I was just talking about that. I'm going for 3 points. On the last 25 trades of mine, 23 of them made over 3 points. Well, 3.25 points and above. And I'd have been over $2,000 better off now. And the beauty about doing that small amount, that amount of points, is you can take less trades and go for better trades. So personally, I think it's a no-brainer. Generally, if you look at the numbers don't lie. The calculations just don't lie. Now, that's 2 trades didn't make 3.25 points in the last 25. Now, let's say it was double that, or even triple that. I'd still be better off financially. How much is a tick? Well, I'm trading 2 contracts, so for every tick is $25. So because I tend to come out of my 2 points, I lose my bottle. A lot of the time, my average profit is $160, so I'm going for nearly double that, effectively. But I know people like Thomas Wade now goes for 10 ticks a lot of the time. What's his name I just mentioned from Top Pick Trader? He goes for 3 and 4 points a lot of the time as well. So, I mean, you've got to trust the numbers and focus it. But there's no point in me going for 3 points and then coming out at a point. I've just basically got to let it run. Taylor, yeah. You look at, he doesn't put as much live trades, but a lot of the times he'll go for 3 and 4 points. So I think 3 is a pretty round number, and most of the time, if I'm taking that bar, I don't put it 1 tick. I usually hover over the close, so that would save me a tick as well. So I think it's a better way of doing it personally, because the good trades and good solid setups generally go well. I mean, if you get a good setup, it'll comfortably go for way more than 3 points. So for me, the numbers don't lie. And the numbers are telling me I need to be going for a little bit more profit. The risk stays the same. The risk is the risk. Maybe we get a leg down and a leg down. I like the way it's holding above there. And at the moment, we're back to the EMA on the end. Oh, shit. Our trader's gone again. I didn't notice that. Our trader's disappeared. I've just logged back in. Let's see what goes on here. Okay, we're back on there. I'm surprised I didn't notice that. Sometimes you're that focused on here. So, yeah, so I'm going up to 3 points now. My ideal, I can't go for 3 point target. I go for 1-to-1 risk to reward. If my stop is 12 to, yeah, I get it. I get it. To be honest with you, if you're going for, I get the set fact that you do that, but there's no reason why a trade would only go for 8 points instead of, 8 ticks instead of 12 ticks. So, you know, at the moment, the ATR's 2, so you'd be talking average, well, 2 and 3, it's nearly 2, so with commissions and that, you'd be talking, it's all right, I was looking at that. It's a little bit too far away from this line for me. There's not much height. 4 ticks, 8 ticks over a long period. Obviously, that 8 ticks got a lot better results. But not much. You must know how to trade, of course. Absolutely, yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. You've got to know a good setup. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a good setup will make the points. So, for instance, we've got a leg down here. I mean, if you go for something like this, which, well, I don't know, you call it a good setup. Good setups move, and reason being is if we're moving up and you get a good, strong, bullish bar a lot of traders will jump in there, and the good setups just go. So you'll make your points. But yeah, absolutely. You need to have a good setup. If you take a poor setup, now if it starts to go congested to the sideways, now I've lost 3 trades in the last 2.5 weeks. The first trade I took, I shouldn't have taken it. The first loss I took, I shouldn't have taken it. It was clearly congested. I was looking at 2 attempts to go higher, and it was more of a penguin, so I should have left that one. The second trade, the trade I lost, was the first trade I lost on Friday, which was the lower high. Personally, I thought that was an okay setup, so, I can forgive myself for that one. But the last trade I took was clearly congested, and I shouldn't have taken it. I had the impression the market was coming down, so if I wouldn't have taken those stupid trades, I'd still be trading on a high win percentage, certainly about 93-94% win percentage. So I think for the most, my trades are pretty good. So if I believe the trade I've got in to be a good trade, I will leave it for 2 points. If I believe that I may have been a bit hasty and a bit risky, then I will reduce the risk a little bit. So we do seem to be holding this line. My slight concern is we've got a lot of resistance there. We've pushed above it. We've used support there. We've used support at the top. We're underneath it at the moment. Now, there's always that possibility on the NQ that this could be coming down. We do seem to have a bit of a range there, in all fairness. Let's have a look. Yeah, there may be a bit of a range. This may come down. We're under the EMA at the moment on the NQ. So I don't want to be going, the signal bar hasn't. I don't want to be going long at the moment because there's a good chance that the reason that's happened is just maybe random or whatever. But this to me looks like it's likely going to come down because we're under the EMA at the moment. Now, that doesn't mean we can't push up, but on the NQ to me, we are in a range and under the EMA, so I don't really want to be going along. But yeah, you got to do your own due diligence and work out what's best. But if you look back on your trades, it is surprising how many of them go for a lot more than 3 points. I worked out that something like 7 in every one of my winning trades went for over 6 points. So, it all depends. But out of 25 trades, 2 of them wouldn't have made 3 points or more. So I'd have still been $2,000 up. Now, even if you double that or even triple it, you're still in profit. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. But you have got to stick to the rules. There's no point, if you decide to go for 3 points, you've got to stick to them unless it goes a bit congested and you decide to get out. 2 legs down. I kind of like that, but same again. There's a lot of support and resistance there, so it could sting you going along there. Try to go higher once. Try to go twice. It could fail. It could trap the longs and fail that. And with the amount of support and resistance along here, I'm not going long here just yet. If we can get a higher low, then I might think we're going higher. But personally, that could be risky. Because at the moment, I've got the top of this potential range there. I could bring it up a touch and it would fit just as nice, if not probably a bit more. So that to me looks like a stinger. Now, if that pushes up a higher low and it's going to take that stop out, that one out, that might not be a bad option. But at the moment, the EMA to me is a leg down. It could be another leg down. If this finishes bullish, then maybe. But at the moment, it's hard to say. This isn't looking fantastically bullish just at the moment. This, if I'm honest, is congestion. So, a trade here at the moment. I do like the fact that it's testing there. That's interesting. The trouble is, 2 legs back and a higher low. It's very tempting, but we are ranging, so it could trigger above you and come down. We're still just underneath at the moment. The NQ looks like it may come down for another leg. So personally, I'm probably going to stay out of this. That's why I like having the NQ as well. It just gives you a slightly different perspective. This looks a little bit more bullish than the NQ. So there's going to be longs there for sure. So if we can get below there, there's going to be longs there. This could have quite a big flush down. There is a failure there, see, which is triggered. Tempted to go short there, but I'm just staying out at the moment because it could. These markets have got a way of turning quick and stinging you. What I will say is if this drops quickly, there'll be stops there. Quite likely stops there. Certainly stops there. So if we do get down, we could get a really nice tight drop down. There is a failure there, which has triggered, as I've just mentioned, but you just never know. You might jump in there and it might sting you. Could go either way, that. At the moment, this looks ever so slightly more bullish. The NQ looks ever so slightly more bearish. So I got conflicting patterns. So let's see if this holds. So you could say there's a higher low there, which is triggered. Let's see if this holds. Possible 1, 2, 3, possible triple test. But it's dangerous, this is at the moment. There's a failure there. Possible second entry short if it doesn't trigger above there. Or tick above there. Which I'll be surprised if it didn't. Yeah, there we go. So maybe we're going up. So much doubt. See, I've got conflicting pictures at the moment. This is looking sort of bullish. The NQ. We got this break new high. Try go once, try go twice. This looks to me like we're making sort of lower highs. It could trap a short and push up, but I just don't know. This for me is more bearish at the moment. And while I've got conflicting information on both. You didn't take it. Yeah, while we got conflicting information, I think for me personally, I'm safer to stay out. This could just fail and come back into this. Yeah, well, I looked back on the NQ over, you can see it there, we got a touch there, fits really nice at the bottom and actually fits nice there. So my initial instinct was we were going to have a leg, 2 legs of correction and another leg to test the top of this line, because it does look like we got 2 legs up, 2 legs down, and I expected 2 legs up. Now, it may come down here, retest this. We've got a, let's say we got a leg up there, we got a break. We've got a leg up, break new high, one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. It may fail at that line again and push up. So I'm still sort of thinking bullish. But in the short term at the moment, for me, I think it's more bearish. So I'm just not entering long here just at the moment. Now, the daily is looking bullish, but if that pulls back even to a quarter of that bar, that could mean about 10 points on here, or 5, 8, 10 points, which is nothing really. So from a personal point of view, I'm not getting involved in a long there, because I have a feeling that may just flush down, and if it does, you can bet there's going to be some longs there, and leg down break, there's going to be some there. So if we can get down below that line, then I think there's a good chance we're going to come down towards the bottoms. But at the moment, we are still hugging this line, which is interesting. But we've gone up, made a matching high, and come back down. So we've got a break, new high, and we've come back, tested this. We've made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. This could fail and drop. I wouldn't be surprised. So we've got a new low after this. Try to go lower once, try to go lower twice. A possible failed second entry. Short. But I think my feelings are this is going to have a quick drop. Just from what I'm seeing, this is looking slightly bullish, and I can see why people are going to trade long here. But the NQ for me looks like we're going to have another leg down, which would bring us down to sort of this sort of area. So I have a feel this may have a bit of a drop down, and if it does, I think the momentum's going to be picked up by some longs in here, some long stops. So I could be wrong anyway. That's just my gut feeling on what I'm seeing. But obviously the NQ could turn pretty quick. Technically a second entry short, right? That one there. Yeah, it is a second entry short. A lower high. To be honest with you, at the moment, this is dangerous to trade here at the moment, because we're going up, we've come up again. I don't really want to go long or short here. This is giving me maybe slightly more bullish. It's looking like, but honestly, I think we're going to have a quick drop down. And if we do, there may be longs there. I think this is going to have a quick flush down. It's struggling. So I don't like this. So I'm definitely not going long here, because I have a feeling this is just going to go whoop. It's only a feeling, but these gut feelings are there for a reason, because, you know, in your brain you've sat and looked at times like this before that you may have gone in long and it's just come down, so you tend to get that sort of itchy feet. It is holding there, but we've pushed up and we only made a matching high, so it's struggling to get up. And at the moment, we're quite a bit below the EMA on the NQ. See, I think the overall picture on the NQ at the moment is more of a bullish pattern. We've got to push up. We've got one attempt to go low. We've got a second attempt to go low. And then we could push up for another leg. That would make sense to get up to here. You know, Friday we had leg up, leg down, leg down. So I think there's a good chance we're going to get the same. But I think this is more than likely going to come down and retest this before it pushes up. So in the short term, maybe over the next 5 minutes or so, I think it's more likely to come down. And this is looking more bearish at the moment, so that would keep me out of a long trade. So this is choppy, it's congested, although it is making slightly higher lows, but that makes it dangerous in my point when it's making higher lows, but it's still choppy and congested, because that means to me it looks like it's sucking in longs and it'll have a quick flush down. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Just from experience, and it's enough to keep me out of a trade. So there's quite a bearish bar finished on the NQ, which is definitely looking bearish to me at the NQ. If that NQ does have a quick drop down, it'll take this with it. The EMA is holding, but it's congested, and it's struggling to get up. So the combination of it being congested and struggling to get up makes it risky, I think. I mean, we shouldn't be trading in congestion anyway. Congestion's there really telling you that there's uncertainty. And when it's uncertain and congested, you're best off stay out, because it just does make those trades way more risky. I mean, it could rocket up, but I've been in trades like this before thinking, yeah, we're going long, or we're pushing up, come on, slowly grinding up, and then all of a sudden, woof, down it will drop. Mark my words, I think there's a good chance this is going to come down, and if you've taken a long there or a long there, whether it'll come past that, I don't know. For me, this is going to come down and eat up some stops. JP, how you doing, buddy? JP, we spoke before. Where are you from, my friend? JP. Okay, so if you took that bar there, your stop's just gone. Try go low once. If you took the failure there, your stop's just gone. Now we're coming down to the bottom of the range on the NQ. So been a while from Montana. Montana, excellent. That sounds warm. Please tell me it's warmer than the UK. So let's see if this holds. You know, I get why. Yeah, it was pretty obvious to me that it was going sideways and struggling to get up, that it was going to have a drop. So any longs in there, you've eaten up. Now we have just broken out the bottom of the range, and that's what I mean. This is telling me bearish. Now, over the last few days, we've had a leg up, a pullback, and a leg up, a leg down, a pullback, and a leg down. We've got a leg back, leg up, pull up, a pullback. I think there's a good chance we could get another leg. That's just speculation, but going by what's happened so far, I think that it's more likely it's going to do that than not. And this was looking slightly bullish but congested. So for me, it's sucking longs in. Market's very efficient at making you think it's going up. And then it comes down. So any longs taken there, your stop's just gone. Whether this will hold, it may do. It depends. There's always the possibility it's just a bigger range on the remove the big up trend. What, that one there? Yeah. There's still a possibility it could go up. It could just be a break, but yeah, I think that's a fair comment. So try once, try twice. Leg up, break, new high. I mean, it's still, at the moment, it's holding. It's looking still slightly bullish, and on the NQ, we've pushed up. We've had 1-2 legs back. So if that pushes in here and holds, there's a good chance that's going to go up to the top, and possibly higher. So that would mean, if we're at the bottom now, potentially pushing up the top, that could mean this could push up. So there is still a possibility that might be a channel with a break and a new high. So it's hard to say. But the thing is, at the moment, we're right down the bottom of the range of the NQ. So I think the chances are we're going long, personally. So I'm not thinking of going short here, but I get why some people might be thinking about lower, failures and stuff like that. But while I got two conflicting pictures, for me it's more confusing, and when it's confusing, I think you're best off just to sit tight and wait for it to be a little bit more clear. See, that to me now, it just looks like a bigger range. Let's leave it there a minute. Sorry, I get really finicky about getting it right. So let's just pop that there. So it does look like push up sideways, push up sideways. Now, sometimes when you see these bigger channels throughout the day, we do push up sideways, push up sideways, push up sideways. So, yeah, see, I mean, that's looking sort of bearish, but you'd be going short into all that, and it might rock it down, but there's a lot of support along the bottom there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've bounced there. So normally if we come down the bottom, obviously we'd be thinking about it's more likely going to go up. So I don't think there's any type of a larger something I've missed maybe. Not sure about that. There's still a possibility of a spike in a channel. This has definitely got a bullish feel to it at the moment. On the NQ, looks like a bull flag push up sideways with another push up. The daily is looking bullish. Over Friday, we could certainly come up to this line. We've been up here twice, 3 times before. We've been down here 3 times, once, twice, 3 times. Leg up, 2 legs back, 2 legs of correction, and another leg up. That would make sense, wouldn't it? In fact, probably put that down. Oh, it still gets us comfortably up and maybe even out the top. But obviously on the NQ, we need to get above this, looking like we're going to push up. And if we do, then if we can come back and maybe retest this, then I don't know. It's clearly a bit sideways and a bit mixed feelings, but it's definitely got a bullish feel to it. All my losing days have been from choppy days. Yeah, see, it just goes to show how you learn, though, isn't it? It's how you learn. See, you know, people, they hammer themselves over losing trades, but losing trades are the best way to learn. You don't learn a lot from your winning days, but your losing days, you really do. But like you said, I think that's quite a common thing for traders or less experienced traders to just trade up here, across here, up to take trades. And you think, okay, well, it's second entry long, let's go long. The trouble is, when it goes sideways, it does make it way more risky. And sometimes when it's choppy, the rules don't always work as well as they normally would. You know, these price action rules that we follow, it does make things more risky when it's chopping. And areas like this, really, there's uncertainty. There seems to be a mixed amount of buyers and sellers, which usually means that are we bullish, are we bearish? Well, no one really knows at the moment. And usually the volume sort of cuts down. So it is a triple test, but that may trap some shorts. You know what I mean? Because at the moment, this picture's looking bullish. So when it's like this, I think sometimes you're best off staying out of it. I'm not a fan of picking bottoms. If we have a beautiful channel up like that and we have 1, 2, 3, then yeah, I'll think about going long. But I don't know at the moment. I think trades like that are a bit dangerous personally. We're push up with sideways, we're push up with sideways. What does that tell you? What comes next? Push up sideways, push up sideways. What's next? Push up. And look at that bar there straight away. I think the chance of not getting stopped out there, see? So when it's like this and choppy, you just best off stay out of this, because what's it's Baby Squid's just made a brilliant point there. There you go. So if you'd have taken that triple test, you'd have just lost. Baby Squid, in fact, you both just made interesting comments just at this time. Baby Squid's just said most of his losing days are here, and Adnan's just said triple test. So it just goes to show when it's like this, you're best off staying out. I used to beat myself up for trying to figure out, why can't I figure out what's going on and trade this? Purely and simply because, and we've all heard Max says that, the skilled trader is staying out, and it's the inexperienced traders who would jump in here and giving away the money. So if we have a beautiful channel up like that, 1, 2, 3, beautiful legs back, nice and bullish, then yeah, I would say a triple test. Don't be like me. We've all been like it, Speed, haven't we? I mean, you know my struggles. I know your struggles. We've all been the same, but that's how you learn. Rollercoaster. I'll tell you something. I was thinking about this earlier before I came on the stream. I was thinking about how it feels when you jump in trades. But look at that. How frustrating is that? So you take that, triggers you, stops you out, and then comes back in. That's a choppy market when it does that. It's damn frustrating. The ES is very, very good at finding weak positions and taking them out. It really is. But I was thinking earlier. Let me still sip my coffee. I was thinking about, yeah, you're down, you're up. Okay, yeah, all you got to try and do is keep your head clear and just wait for another setup. Ultimately, when I had that $425 loss on Friday, now what I'd have done in the past, once I'd have finished the stream, I'd have jumped straight back in. I may have even gone up to 10 contracts and tried to get 4 ticks. And that's what a lot of people do, revenge trading, trading on tilt, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes it'll work, but most of the time you'll lose and you'll blow accounts. And that's how most people trade when they're inexperienced. And that's how I've been doing it myself for the last 3 years. But I do seem to have found something. I think it's a combination of two things. I'm sick to death of feeling crappy when I'm revenge trading. It's a horrible, sickening feeling. Now, I remember the last time I revenge trade, I won a bit, lost a bit, won a bit, lost a bit. Sometimes it goes against you and you lose quick. But I was trading for like 30 minutes, up, down, up, down. And when I walked away, I couldn't calm down. My heart was beating like crazy. My neck felt like it was in a vice. I felt like I was unfit and I'd just done an absolute massive sprint and I couldn't control myself. It's a horrible feeling, revenge trading. Jumping in randomly, you see the market go up, you jump in, it comes down. You see the market come down, you jump in, it goes up. And it just seems to go against you constantly. On the odd occasion, it'll go in your favour and you'll get lucky, but most of the time you'll lose it, so you just can't do it that way. You're naturally going to, emotions are going to get the better of you. I know, because I've done it for so long. But at the moment, the feeling, it absolutely is. It makes you feel physically sick. It's horrible. It is. It's like walking along a tightrope and you've got sharks one side and crocodiles the next. And there's glass along the beam and you're in bare feet. It's a horrible feeling. But it's because of the emotions, it's very hard to control and you just can't help it. Your finger seems to have a mind of its own and it just clicks that mouse. I've been trading 2 contracts and I finished the stream. I don't know how many times the market's going up when I go click, click, click. 6 contracts. Let's go long. Let's try and get 3 or 4 ticks or a point. And I did that for so long. And I remember it happened before Christmas and I just got sick of feeling like that. And I think I've just hit a wall where I've realised I just can't keep doing it. 1, I feel horrible. 2, I'm throwing money away. And at some point, you bang your head against the wall enough times, you'll realise it hurts. You can't keep doing it. And I think you need to experience that journey and get to that point. Someone told me, maybe a year or so ago, you need to get that sick of losing and throwing money away that something changes in your brain, It's like going down to the gym and lifting, 30 kilos in either side and a dumbbell, you're going to struggle like shit, aren't you? But at some point, you're going to change. You're going to be able to lift those weights, but you can't. You can say that from a physical aspect, but going on in your brain, you can't. And you just have to hope that you get better at it. But I would say 99 times out of 100, when I lost that $425 on Friday, I'd have jumped straight in after I finished the stream. This time I didn't. I didn't want to. I thought, what's the point? Because I'm going to lose it all. I'm going to have a shit weekend. I can count this down as a loss just for what it is. It happens to the best traders in the world. Walk away. I come back Monday and I've still got over $2,200 in both my accounts. And it's just a loss. That's all. It's a business expense. So at some point, I think you hit a point where you go, I can't do it this again. I can't keep doing it. And I think at that time you start to question, is it now time to give up? Do I carry on? And those two seem to coincide with the change of your mindset. And I felt really good over the weekend. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. I kind of like the idea of talking to you guys because I talk about how I feel and how it affects me. And hopefully, because when you're trading and you're losing and you're struggling, you feel like you're on your own. But it's nice to hear other people's points of view because you go, oh, that's exactly how I feel. How did it help you? What did you do? And I think it helps everybody. Which is part of the reason why I decided to trade, because I want to, I want to talk about how I feel, and I want to see other people. They've got the same struggles, and how did they get better? And keep going. You don't want me to keep going. Never say to me, keep talking. That's a mistake. But we all go through that. We all do. Trading, I believe, from everything I've ever read, trading is a journey that you must go through. We're not, we're bred to be materialistic. We have something. You don't give it up. Don't take it away. It's mine. And when we go into trading, most other jobs in life, well, nearly all jobs in life, you turn up on a Monday, you finish on a Friday, you get your wages. It doesn't work that way here. You can lose all your wages and more. So the only way really you get better at this is just to keep exposing yourself to those emotions. And at some point, you'll start to go, okay, these emotions aren't affecting me the same way. Usually I'll jump in. I haven't this time, and things will start to change. And I've spoken to loads of traders into emotional control. Well, we did discuss that they do something in Ninja Trader that if you take a loss, it automatically speed dials you through to a therapist, which talks you down. But I think it's important to talk about this because I know it's stuff that's affected me, and if it's affected me, it's affected others as well. And I think it's important to talk about it because it does help you get some perspective and give you a little bit of hope. And make you think, you're not on your own. Because I thought it's just me. Surely no one else could do 10 contracts, could they? But when you start talking to people, it's surprising. It really is surprising that everybody does it. So I think it's important to just not beat yourself up and just take a break. How can I speed dial a therapist? Trigger button. It'd be nice if someone came out with some sort of software that put you through to a therapist. Automatically you could click a box and put auto therapist, and as soon as you take a loss, it puts you through to a 3-minute call with a therapist, and she just tells you, how it's human, you're going to be fine, everyone loves you, and all the stuff that makes you feel good. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But there's software's starting to come out now which stops you actually doing it. That is it called Guardian Angel? You can set certain parameters that maybe you can say, I want to trade between this hour and this hour, and you can set it and lock it, and you can't change it till the following day. So it physically stops you putting a trade in after hours. There's all sorts of parameters that you can put in. I believe you can put in that if you have 2 losses a day. I did consider looking at it, but I thought at the moment, I don't really want a piece of software. I I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to try and control it myself. But I think it sort of plays a purpose. Sign me up here. It would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice if you can do that. So, this to me looks exactly like that. It's sucking in traders and it's dropping, it's sucking in and then it's dropping. So I don't know whether somebody may have taken that one or that one. Let me just get rid of that a minute. See, this is looking, well, I don't know, I got mixed feelings here. So a quick look at the NQ. Push up, still going sideways, aren't we? Down, up, not quite so up that time. So, see this, we had that leg up, and we had a little bit of a channel, and then another leg up. So we could have a leg up, sort of a bit of a channel, and then maybe another leg up. But it's, I don't know, I got mixed feelings at the moment. I'm not thinking about going long just at the moment. I'm not thinking about going short either. I think of every trade as a fresh start. Yeah, you do, don't you? Do you know, I think I'm going to make a video about this at some point because I don't hear many people talk about this. I hear lots of people talking about reading this book and reading that book and journaling and taking a break from the computer. Nothing really worked for me. It's okay saying I'll walk away from the computer when I take a loss, but the emotions are that powerful. It's not going to let you. So for me, it didn't work. Journaling, I tried writing down my trades and how I felt. Because the emotions were that powerful, it didn't seem to matter what I did. And the only thing that I can see, it's perfect logic to me. So, you know, if you're in a relationship and your wife turns around one day and says, "I'm leaving you," you have got these huge emotions which are literally surging through your veins. Disbelief, shock. You may have tears. And you'll go through all these different emotions over a period of months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and it won't have that same effect. You won't break down and have that shock, frustration, anger for forever. It starts to diminish because you're getting used to it. You've heard the news, you know what the story is, you'll get used to it. So whatever you do in life that's got strong emotions, you'll get, going back to the boxer. You know, you see a guy go into the ring for the first time, he's swinging like crazy. Why? Because of the emotions. Can't deal with it. He's not used to it. You put him in a ring and he trains every other day for 3 years, he'll be a lot more controlled because he's used to the emotions. And the only way you get used to the emotions is to keep doing it and to keep trading. Unfortunately, to keep having risk. So for me, there's no magic bullet. It just takes time. It's perfect logic, but I never hear many people say that. I hear so many people saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to take a break, you need to do meditation, you need to take deep breaths, you need to walk away from the computer. I hear so many different methods and ways of doing these things, but to me, they're not logical. The only way to get rid of emotions is time. So I've just never quite got why no one has ever really mentioned that. Strange. I feel the same way. Time heals. Absolutely, of course it does. If you jump out of a plane, first time I've done it, if you've ever done it, you shit yourself. There's no two ways about it. If anyone says they don't jump out of a plane and they ain't scared to death or nervous, they're either crazy or they're lying. But if you continue to do it day in, day out, you wouldn't still have that same fear. If you go on a scary roller coaster once, it's scary. You do it 1,000 times or 100 times, it can't possibly have that same effect. It's impossible because you get used to it. But because we don't have these emotions in our everyday life, we don't get used to them. You know, you don't jump out of a plane every day. You don't get into a boxing ring every day. You don't split up from a relationship every day. All the things that harbour these really powerful emotions. I like to go through a lot of training in regards to emotion control. Myself and my wife has syndrome, autism, non-verbal and a lot of behavioural issues. Yeah, my daughter's suffering with a little bit of that sort of. You say autism, you tend to think autism is a bit like Rain Man, but it's not always, is it? My daughter, you would never guess, but she has these sort of mood swings and things like that. But yeah, it just does take time. Yeah, I've got a 15-year-old daughter who's sort of ADHD and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it is tough, isn't it? Especially when it's your kids as well, isn't it? It's hard, isn't it? I know she misses a lot of school, and I just worry about education and stuff like this. But yeah, it is. Emotions are strange because we don't have them. We have a certain amount of emotions, of course we do, when we make decisions, but really strong emotions that come into play. I mean, risking losing lots of money and throwing your money away. Obviously, we're that materialistic. We don't like losing things, and it's a horrible feeling. And when you lose money. You lose money if you're walking down the street and you realise you've lost your wallet £1,000, and the first thing you do is panic. When panicking actually doesn't really do anything. But yeah, strong emotions, they do take time to be able to deal with them. And if you have them for long enough, you will be able to. It can't possibly have that same effect on you, the same every time. It's impossible. So that tells me the simple answer to trading, the revenge trading, is you need to keep doing it until those emotions don't quite have the same effect. And what happens during that time is your trading skill. Let me ask a question. Has anybody ever just got a PA account and they've set it to 2 contracts and they say, right, I'm going to do it really careful now. And you see the market go up and you click buy quickly. 6 contracts and you get a quick 5-point move and you're up $900 and you'll go, from now on, I'm going to take my time and do it properly. Has anybody ever done that? Something I used to do all the time. And sometimes on a fresh PA, I used to get up $800 or $900 in a day, and I used to think, okay, I'm going to be careful and trade it properly now. And I think the reason I used to do that is because I didn't believe I had the skills to be able to get it up there myself. I needed to have a little bit of luck, a little bit of risk just to get me higher. But as those emotions, slowly start to sort of descend like this, your skill levels at the same time are going like this. And at some point, there's going to be a crossover. The emotions aren't going to affect you, and you're going to feel a bit of clarity and less stress. And you're going to go, actually, I'm picking a lot better trades, and I'm starting to feel like I know what's going on. So that combination of the stress is getting less, and your skills getting better, will sort of overtake each other and tip the balance in your favour. And that's where I feel. The reason I've mentioned that is because that's how I feel now. Now, I kind of did, but went against me, and I blew it first day. Yeah, I think people do all sorts of stuff, but that's something I used to do because I didn't believe I had the skills. I wanted to just because I think when people eventually pass an evaluation, the next level is you want a payment, and we know you've only got $2,600. So if I can get a quick $800 or $900, I'm a third of the way there. Maybe I can sort of swing it and get lucky to get me there the rest of the way. It's something I used to do terrible. But there's no two ways about it. I'm a 100% firm believer. It goes against everything I've learned in life. Anything with a lot of emotions, it takes time. If you have those emotions every day and do that same thing, they will start to decrease. And at that time, you'll start to think, actually, I'm not jumping in. I'm not doing something stupid. And I sort of care about my accounts. This is interesting. We got a leg down and we look like we got a hidden second entry short. My only slight concern is on the NQ. This still looks like a bit of a bull flag, and that could turn and push up. And it's also triggered, you could call that a hidden second entry short. It's triggered that and starting to push up. So it does kind of look like a bull flag. So touch, 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 touch. And not only that, it may just take it out anyway. So, yeah. Same again. This is just a bit choppy and a bit dangerous, I think. I mean, it could just be a bigger range day, but we've had multiple times to go up, so also feel like the start of the charts is what separates a good trader. Yeah. Once use. Yeah. Do you know what I used to feel? I used to tremble sometimes when I used to get to the chart on a PA account. That excitement and nervous feeling. I can feel my heart rate. I could almost hear me heart beating. I could feel my blood rushing through my veins. And I used to do that every day of the week. It's weird how emotions get you, but I don't get it anymore. I feel a lot calmer. And I've got to say, I enjoy my trading now more than I've ever enjoyed it. And no one enjoys, losing. I'm pretty sure you're always going to have that little bit of apprehension. But I think when you realise your skill level, when your skill levels overtake your emotional levels, I think you're going to realise, okay, it's just a loss. Yeah, you took that second entry short. Yeah, it worked out okay, that, didn't it? I was hoping we may get another one. It did come down that. See, I wasn't sure what's going on here. See, we'd come down to the bottom there, and we haven't there. And sometimes that tells me we lose momentum, and I'm thinking maybe it's this time we're going to have that push up. Because over the last Friday and today, we got that same thing. We got a push up, little channel down, a push up, little channel down, and a push up. And at some point, personally, I think this is going to push up. Yeah, it may come down a fair bit before it does. It's hard to say, but I just don't like this. I didn't want to take a short on the what's it, and not only that, we're not up that high here, so I just got mixed feelings. See, there is a possibility. We're range at the moment. We've had a breakout at the top. A lot of the times when we have a breakout at the top, we'll have more like a mirror image here, so you don't know whether it's going to push up. Trigger that, bounce off here, and push up to the top, which is another reason why I never took it, because it was in the range. So it was just a little bit too... If we'd have got a lower high down there, then that would have been a better option for me. So we got a leg down there, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Effectively, second entry short, lower high. Then I'd have been interested, but generally I don't take that first one so much, especially if I've got mixed pictures at the moment. And the fact that we're in the range. And it could just be this, just failed out the top, failed out the bottom. I wonder if that's coming back into play now. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah, kind of like that. Let's get rid of that. Push up sideways. Yeah, it's a choppy day. Trouble is, we had a choppy day on Friday. And the frustrating thing is, where did I get in on Friday? Where did I lose that trade? I can't remember where I lost that trade. I'm sure it was here, wasn't it? No, it can't have been. I can't remember where I lost that trade now. Friday. Hey Sam, how are you, mate? How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, mate. How you doing? Can't think where I lost that trade now. How you getting on, mate? Enjoying your break? By the way, I'm currently making a freeware journaling system, Windows and Mac, a day journal where you write your notes and save your screenshots in the charts. Good on you, mate. It's interesting to do stuff like that. Oh, good, thanks. Enjoying my time off. Appreciate the kind words. You're welcome, mate, anytime. It's nice to have a break, mate, and it does make you feel better. It is important to have a break. I'm periodically going to take a week at a time off every sort of, 3 or 4 months, regardless of whether I'm going on holiday or not. Yeah, it is important. It's something I've never really done, but I got a massive benefit from it. We did comment about you, mate, on Friday. We did say we wish you the best, that you were taking a little break. We didn't think it'd be long. We thought you'd miss us too much. We didn't think it would be long. No, we had a talk about you, mate, that we've all felt the same way, and it is a horrible feeling, and sometimes you just got to step back for a while, take a breather. It's horrible when it does get you. I said, I was watching your trades, one of your trading days last week, and when you were just getting in a trade, I was thinking, God, I know exactly what's going through your head, because I've been there. It's almost like you're me, do you know what I mean? And I'd say I was there doing something like that. I'd probably say somewhere around about 6 to 8 months ago. And then I seem to go the opposite direction then, only taking one trade a day or sometimes even none. You go from taking way too many to being almost scared of taking a trade. I just think it's another way in the journey. But it's a horrible feeling when it feels like you've totally lost control. It's horrible. It is part of the process, mate. Everything I've ever read about trading, it's a process to change that mindset. Now, I had my first red day in 2.5 weeks on Friday, and I was down $425. And ordinarily, I would have never walked away from that. Never. I never have done. And Friday, I did not want to jump back in. I really didn't. I just thought, there's no way I'm doing that again. And I think, and I've heard someone else say this, you've got to get, so you're that sick of revenge trading and jumping in and taking trades that something just changes in your mindset. And, as we've chatted before, you can't see the changes in your mind like you can, if you go down the gym or you lose weight. It's physical, but you can't see that with your mind. So it's, if you were going down the gym and, for a couple of years and starting to build muscle, after 6 months, you start to see you're toning a bit. There's visual indicators that what you're doing is working. But with trading, it's not that simple. But I do feel different. And the only thing that's changed really is that account I blew before Christmas. I felt physically sick, and I remember I said about 20 minutes ago, I remember going downstairs and I could not slow my heart down. It was just, I haven't felt that like I'd literally just walked out of a fight. My hair was standing on end, my heart was beating like crazy, I was jittering, and it was a revenge trading session that went on for about 20 minutes before I blew the account. And I felt horrible. I couldn't slow my heart down. I could hear my heart beating in me hearing almost. And I don't know. And I had that break at Christmas. I think something's just changed because I haven't had an urge to jump in since I came back at Christmas. And I can safely say I've never gone that long without jumping in. I've been there, or I'll have an heart attack. Yeah, it feels like that. It's just because those emotions. They're raw emotions, and literally, it's almost like it's a chemical that's, rushing through your blood, isn't it? And you think any minute you're going to keel over. Yeah, it's horrible. But I can't tell you how much better I felt from having those 11 days off away from the charts at Christmas. After letting that out. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But it is horrible. It is like you're walking, it's like you're running along a 4-inch beam and you've got a 100-foot drop either side. It's a horrible feeling. It's horrible how those motions just grab hold of you. But But also, I was watching Sam's trading the other day, and he was taking a trade and taking a trade and taking a trade and taking a trade. You know, they all say you've got to pick the best of the best, but where exactly do you differentiate with a really good trade? It's trying to find what's a good trade and what's leaving a trade and missing out on a trade. This may be 2 attempts to go higher. Well, I saw that 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. My slight thing is we've already made a new low. So, and not only that, mate, this is the area which can get dangerous to trade, right around the middle. So we've got a leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, new low. And we bounced off here, so it could trap some shorts and push up higher. Trade in the middle, I think, is dangerous. And the way that's triggered in pushing up, I'll be shitting my pants about now. It's just Vlad's. Yeah. Someone told me about that, and I looked at it about 6 months ago. What does he do? He doesn't pick tops. I think he takes second entries. But one thing I've noticed with you, and I used to do that as well, you see a second entry, you take it. I now wait for second entries right. If they're not close enough to the EMA, I don't take them. I was long. You got long, have you? Yeah, I'm just not sure. Where'd you go? Got out. You got in at the bottoms, did you? Yeah, okay. Second entry. Yeah. But one thing I noticed with you, and I used to do exactly the same, taking a failure or a second entry short when it was quite a bit away from the EMA. I now always try and wait for them to get back to the EMA unless there's something that obvious. And you adjust something, and then you take your trades and you improve a bit, and you adjust something else and you take trades, and that's how it works. It's a series of adjustments and slowly filtering out the crap. And it does take time, and over time that you trade less crap and much better setups. But it is, see for instance taking a long there where that is great. I mean, obviously it didn't work there, but that's the type of thing. If I'm going to take a long, that's where I like it to be, really. Not taking a long. I mean, a long like that, although that worked for me, is a big no-no because it's just so far from the EMA. And it doesn't mean it will come back, and it may go higher, but I tend to sort of wait for those, that really connect well with the EMA, and I found I started getting a better result there. And it is a series of just micro adjustments, and you just get better and better. But unfortunately, on the way, because you have to expose yourself to emotions, you have to risk money. It's the only way you expose yourself. So it is a double-edged sword, really, and it is frustrating. But it's part of that. Well, that's why we'll end up earning the big bucks in time. I need to remove 3 from that. Got burned out a couple of times before the open. Yeah, you'll see me for the most times avoiding tops and bottoms now, because in all fairness, I'm crap at them. Unless they're absolutely obvious. I mean, if we've had a nice channel up here and we go 1, 2, 3 and bounce along that line, then I may take something like that. But it's not easy. And I think really when things do get tough, I think the best thing to do is just have a few days off. Something I never really did. But yeah. I mean, or even if you trade, even if you leave the money and just trade on a sim. If you do an evaluation, say, you can pay £30 a month and you don't have to pay for the license. You can just trade a sim. Or another way you can do it is come back at the end of the day, move everything to the right, and then just click the arrow and move it back 1 bar at a time. And then when you see something, put a visual trade in and then, see what happened. But while you got the emotions there, it does make it so much harder. There's no argument there. But yeah, revenge trading. It's a horrible feeling. It makes you feel physically sick. So this is choppy at the moment. So I mean, you could say that's a lower high, but it may trap you and push up. We've come off the bottom, see, so logically, we've come from the top, 2 legs down, we've come from the bottom, 2 legs up, so it may trap us short there and push up, or it may come down, but it's choppy enough to think you're best off just staying out of it. And on top, yeah, oh, it's definitely burnout, mate. Yeah, see, I'm lucky in a sense. I've just done bits of work weekends, and I could work my job around. You've got a full-time job, see, and it's an important job, mate. It's your livelihood, and when you've got that as well, and all the crap and the frustration that comes along with this, it does take it out of you. So even more for you, mate. It's important to take a break, even if you take a week off or 2 weeks off, just to get away from it clearly and breathe. But when you're losing peer after peer account, you're constantly frustrated, and it has been like in a bad relationship. The slightest thing, you start arguing. You need to get away from it to calm down. They always say, go away, calm down, come back when you've calmed down, because you can't operate when you're frustrated. Especially when you're losing money. It's just like rubbing your nose in it. But I'm glad you're feeling better, mate. I didn't think it'd be long, but maybe just come back and watch the charts a bit, and maybe just, you don't necessarily need to trade, or you could trade on a sim, or just come back and have a chat once in a while. But it's important to come back, I think, when you're feeling refreshed. I wouldn't stay away from the charts for too long. Yeah, I would just look at the charts, have a look at them, glance at them now and again. Yeah, it is playing it by ear. I wouldn't stay away from the charts too much. I don't know whether that may go against you or not. I don't know. Can still, yeah, can. Yeah, it's completely choppy at the moment, and the NQ isn't looking much better. I thought this looked like, because over the, Friday we had 1 leg up, 2 leg up, 1 leg down, 2 leg down. It's done the same thing. We had that push up, we had this little channel down, and then we had another leg up. Same with that. We pushed down, a little bit of chop, and then down again. So I think there's a good chance we're going to push up. But where's it going to come from? Here? It could come right down, or it might not work. But at the moment, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's just... you just don't know, do you? I mean, we've come off these bottoms, so it could go up, have 2 legs down, and then push up the top. And in the meantime, trap some shorts there. But you just don't know. It may come retest this, or it could come down, or we could have a leg and a leg. There's dozens of different scenarios. I was watching Alpine's chart yesterday. He was giving away some evaluations, so you had to type Apex in the comments, and I did, and I actually got through to the what's it? I've got my name in a little circle. My family was so proud. I was one of the 12 names spinning round in a little circle to try and win one. I never won one. He's having some good results now. He's been through it. I think he's been trading, did he say 5-6 years? About 6 years. And he's starting to do really well now, starting to pick up some nice payments every month. I think he's had over 20,000 since just before Christmas. So he's starting, and he trades the open. When the market officially opens, obviously it tends to tear off in a direction, doesn't it, usually? But he seems to be doing really well at the moment, so I like watching people who are doing well. So he's interesting. He trades the NQ on the minute chart, I think he was trading yesterday. Alpine trader. So he's interesting. But yeah, he's starting to do okay now. He's starting to get some payments. It was quite a big bar, that, wasn't it? Was it about 11 or 12 points? Yeah, so it was about 3.5 point total risks. Too close to the bottoms for me personally, because it may just turn. We've come off the bottom here. We sort of did the same, didn't we? Pushed up, came back a bit. So if you'd have took that lower high, would you have got? So you'd have just squeezed a point out of that, depending on where you got in there. You may not even. And there's a tick above there, that's about the same, so you may not, you'd need to tick through there. So just after we've come off the bottom, say we could just push up 2 legs back and another leg up. I think it was a bit risky, that was. It's quite a big bar, and the way that's moving up. The chop's even tighter in the on the NQ at the moment. Yeah, it did seem like there may... was it here, was it? Where was that spike and char from? Was it there? Yeah, initially it sort of looked like we were doing this. It still sort of worked, didn't it? Why is that doing that? Leg up. Yeah, we could have a leg up, 2 legs back. It may trap some more shorts here, or it may come down. It certainly could do. Leg. It could come up. I just think personally, I'm not a fan of taking them into resistance or support, whatever you call it. Leg. So we've got a leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. It's almost like a penguin style trade, that, isn't it? Leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, failure, and then down. The only issue I have with that is if it was taking a trade like here, he'd want to get out before the lows, and if you took that lower high, you're never going to take 1-to-1 and get out before the lows. You might have to say that in English, bud. My Spanish isn't. I think it's Spanish you're saying, isn't what it used to be. I don't know. Can anybody read that Spanish? I assume it's Spanish. The Brits aren't known for their languages. We struggle with English, I think. Don't you apologise, mate. In fact, I know. I think the thing is, a lot of US guys, I think they're pretty good with Spanish, aren't they? But no, the English aren't very good. I remember I went over to France when I was about 21. I got the train from London to Ostend, and then I went down through Ostend on a train down through Luxembourg, through Switzerland and to Austria, and I did a little bit of work in a ski resort back when I was a chef. And then I ended up going to France, and I went to a place called Val d'Isère in France. And when I was coming back to the UK, I came through Paris. I know I was trying to get a train, and I asked someone in French if they spoke English, and they told me in perfect English, no, they didn't. So I think the English are known sometimes to be a little bit arrogant when it comes to learning languages. The rest of the world seem to do pretty well about it. You guys tell me why you trade Apex and not your own money. Probably because we ain't got much. I am 1 year in trading futures and break even slightly profitable. I never considered until you. Well, I'll tell you the way it is. So at the moment, I've got 2 accounts here. So it's cost me $33 to pass the evaluation and $140 to pay for the lifetime payment on the PA. So it's cost me around about $175. So I've got $175 on the line, and in that one account there, I've made about 7 times that. So this enables me to trade very small amount of my money and make a reasonable amount of money. But I can have up to 20 PA accounts. So say in the last 2.5 weeks, now I did have a little bit more until Friday, in the last 2.5 weeks, I've made, what, let's say $1,100, $1,150, say. If I made that on 10 accounts, that's $11,500. So how big is the account? Well, it's called a $50,000 account. Now, that's a little bit of a myth, to be honest with you, because what you effectively do is have a $2,500 drawdown. So I can't lose $2,500, otherwise I'll blow the account. But if you blow it, you just get another account. But it enables you to risk a small amount of money and make a large amount of money. So you're not risking a huge amount of money yourself. So there is a failure there, but the trouble is you're going short into there, so it may work and it may come dropping down, but I think that's risky going into that lot. So the trouble is, I mean, if you put $2,500 your own money and you lose it, you've lost $2,500. Now, to be able to trade with $2,500 is only really going to cost me $175. $35 to do the evaluation, and $140, which is a lifetime payment on that. You'll never pay any more. And effectively, I can have an account where I can trade $2,500, and obviously make it. I can up my risk a little bit more than you, mate, because you're risking your own money. I'm only risking a small amount of mine. So prop firms have got that bonus because some people have got the skills to trade, but not the money to be able to make to make a decent amount of money. But obviously, with the era of prop firms, you can, because the thing is to to be able to learn to trade and to be able to learn to deal with the emotional side, you have to have risk. Much better to risk small amounts on the $33 evaluations than put your own money in. Need to take the trailing drawdown. Yeah, but effectively, you've got $2,500 to play with. Now, if you wanted that same ability and to make money off $2,500, the only other option is to use your own money. Apex makes money because, as you know, the majority of traders lose and will fail. So if I pay $33 and I blow that account, they've made $33 off me. And what they do is they make money off people failing, and when people start to make money, then what they'll do then is start to copy their trades. But obviously there's a process, there's an evaluation, there's a PA, which stands for a performance account, which is sort of the next level, and you're limited to take $2,000 twice per month out of that account for 3 months. So basically they're saying you do an evaluation, trade for 3 months. At that point, if you're still making money and we'll look at you, then we'll start copying your trade. So there's various ways they make money. But most people, haven't got the luxury of being able to trade their own accounts, their own money. And probably shouldn't be because, as we know, most traders will lose money. So that's the benefits with them, but they are a massive benefit for sure. They absolutely are. And they can copy their trade, but opposite direction. But yeah, it's a much better way of doing things. Okay, so there is a failure there. Trouble is, I don't really want to go long into that because we bounce, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. We could quite easily trigger that and push up, or trigger that, push up. So, but I use Apex personally. I think most traders here do, because Apex are about the best out there, really. Their valuation prices are very cheap. Their rules, or lack of them, are just a lot less taxing than a lot of other prop firms. I've only used a couple myself, but you tend to get a feel for who tends to, the better prop firms out there. But I think Apex are probably about the best out there. Generally, I've not really heard many bad things about them. There are a few people who try and swing the rules a bit and maybe trade large initially and then very small. So there's always that possibility they will refuse you. But if you're trading normally and you're not trying to make massive gains on your first day and then micros on your second, and the rest of your 9 days, then you're fine. You're allowed to trade. On a $50,000, I can trade up to 10 contracts. The trouble is, so what you're basically dealing with when you take a $50,000 PA, you've got a 2,500 drawdown. So you start at 50,000, your drawdown starts at 47,500. So if you make 500, your drawdown pushes up 500. If you lose 500, your drawdown stays where it is. If you make that 500 back, your drawdown stays where it is. It doesn't start moving again until you're back to where you were before. But obviously, so if you lose basically 2,500 in one go, or you go up 1,000 and then go down 1,500, you've hit your drawdown, your account's blown. But all you're losing is your $35 for the evaluation and your $140 to buy the PA account. So all you've got is $175 risk, and you've got $2,500 to play with. So compared to your $2,500, where you're risking the whole amount. So that's the benefit. And not only that, I can trade multiple accounts. So if I look for a very small $100 profit on one account, that makes me $100. If I got 20 accounts, you use a trade copier. I've got a replicant up here. And I can copy 20. I trade the one and it'll copy the other 19. So whereas I make $100 on one, I make $2,000 off the 20. So it enables you to make larger amounts of money. Obviously, you've got to be able to trade. But the prop firms have enabled you to make large amounts of money. And with Apex, you can trade with 20 accounts. So if you can trade, mate, Nomad, you can make a lot of money. A lot of money. You know, you get a measly $100 a day times 20. That's $2,000 a day. That's a lot of money over a month. Yeah, basically, to do an evaluation is at the moment, it's 80% off at the moment. They have these deals on all the time, so it's about $33. So you pay $33, and then you can either pay a monthly fee on this, which is $85, or a one-off fee, which is $140. That's on the $50,000 accounts, which are about the best. So really, you've got $175 risk, and you've got a $2,500 draw. Basically, you've got $2,500 to play with. Whereas if you want to make the same money as I can make on here in your account, you've got to have $2,500. So you're risking that, or you're risking $2,500. And like I say, you've got a $2,500 drawdown on your account, because if you lose your $2,500, your account's blown anyway. But you know, you don't have to worry about things like margin on your account. I think to trade one mini, you've got to have $500. So if you lose some of yours and you go down to below $1,000, you won't be able to trade two contracts. Doesn't matter here. But that's what you'll be risking per account. But you know, let's say for instance you make $1,000 risking here. That's per account. That's $20,000 per month or per fortnight or however. You know, you'll know how much you'll move. But what happens is when you have a $50,000 account, your drawdown starts at 50,000. So it starts at I've gone blank. So you start at 50,000, and your drawdown starts at let me think. Have a look here. Leg. Your drawdown, what am I doing? Starts, so it'll be 47,000. So 47,500. So that's your drawdown basically. Yeah. Let's get that right. It's 50,000, isn't it? Yeah. So 50,000. So if you go up to say 3,000, when that gets to 50,000 it stops. It's actually 50,100 it stops. So once you start to build that like this will stop when it gets to 50,100. So if this is 50,100, you'll still keep taking off then. So you can go up and down, up and down, up and down, and that won't move. So as soon as you've hit $52,600, that stops at $50,100, which is $2,500 behind it. It doesn't move then. So there's lots of examples on the Apex website. If you go to the Apex website, and there are videos explaining it all, but they're about the best out there. Trust me on that. I've used a bunch of them. A lot of other people will trade you, but you can also trade your own account, and you can trade all these at the same time as well. I have 2 accounts at the moment. Do you plan? Yes, absolutely, yeah. What I want to do is get these 2 to pay out, and then I'll add more. So what I'll probably do is when this gets above $2,600, I'll take out $2,000 from each, which will give me $4,000. That will leave these only down to about $500 though, but I can reduce that to 1 contract and slowly build them again. But I've put $175 into that one. If it pays me $2,000, I've more than 10x to my money. So that'll be left with $500 in there, and I can take that slow as I like to build it back up. It's free money, it's paid for itself. And then what I'll probably do is add maybe 3 more or 5 more and build them up when I can get a payment. Take a payment out so the account's paid for itself, reduce the contract, and continue to slowly build. And can I still trade? Yes, you can. You can trade on Trade-of-8 and Ninja Trade. There's a bunch of things, but yeah, they introduced Trade-of-8, I don't know, 3 to 5 months ago. So yeah, it sounds to me like you can trade. And so if you can trade, you can make an absolute ton of money off this. You know, you trade with $50,000, which effectively gives you $2,500 to trade with. You even make $1,000 off each account times 20, $20,000 a month. I mean, we're talking serious money then, really. Okay, we've bounced off the bottom again, possibly a lower high, possibly a higher low, but we're still under the EMA. We could have a leg down and a leg down, so I think this is risky. It's a bit congested. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment out of this. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's always a possibility 2 legs down. We could have another leg down. I mean, it's sort of, at the moment, it makes sense that we push back up, but at some point we're going to break out of this. So there is that possibility we could come down, but at the moment it's just not clear, so I'm sitting tight. But yeah, take my word for it, you can earn a lot of money from Apex. Obviously, you need to be able to trade. But the beauty is, you know, you may only risk maybe 2% off your $2,500 because you're risking $2,500. But on that account there, the $2,500 drawdown, I'm only actually risking $175. So I'm risking a huge amount less than you are. So effectively, I could up the risk if I wanted to, maybe risk 5% or even 10%. You know, if your strategy works well and you only have maybe 95% win rate, the chance of you blowing 8 trades in a row is probably slim. Now, if it was your own money, you probably wouldn't risk 10% because there's going to be a lot more emotions involved in your own money. But if you've only got $175 on the line, you may up your risk a little bit. Is our daddy Matt going to be back tonight? I believe he's back today, yeah. The main disadvantage of these funded accounts is the added technical issues. Yeah, they do have technical issues from time to time. Because you've got to use Rhythmic alongside Ninja Trader, sometimes this can have problems. So it's important that you have things like your positions and your orders tab to hand from Ninja Trader, and also your positions tab from there where you close things down. So most of the time you'll be okay. It's still worth the risk. And if something goes bad wrong across the line and all the accounts are blown, most of the time Apex will go, yeah, don't worry, we'll write your account. So people still trade them, which tells me the issues are not as concerning enough to put people off. But as long as you're careful and you adopt certain rules, you can put caps on how much you want to lose in a day on these. If you can go into Rhythmic, you can set, say, maximum $500 per account per loss per day. So if something does happen, this will kick in at that. So there are ways to keep problems to a minimum. So, but yeah, if you're trading your own money, you got $2,500 of your own money, and you are managing to build. I mean, my honest opinion is stick to one account until, like an evaluation, just do one at a time. You're risking too much otherwise. While you're learning to trade, do one at a time. And then when you manage to do an evaluation, same a PA, same again, stick to one at a time. When you can make it pay, then increase it. Because if you're using a trade copy and you're still blowing accounts, why blow 5 accounts when you can blow just one and reduce your risk by 5x? So only really increase these. This is my personal opinion. Only really increase the amount of accounts you trade when you start being able to trade. Otherwise, you're throwing 5-10 times the amount of money away. I've seen traders before having 20p accounts and they'll blow them all. A guy called Wilson, and another trader, he had 20 accounts a while ago. Something, I think, happened in the day, ended up losing a lot. Fortunately, I think he got a bit of money out of them. But I think Wilson's very, very close to being able to trade. I think he's got enough skills. But I think in the early days, I was blowing accounts left, right, and centre, and if I'd have been blowing 5 or 10 or 20 at a time, it just does you way more damage, unless you got money to burn, of course. But yeah, much better to trade prop firms. It really is. I've been trading long enough to know the difference. What happens when preparation meets opportunity? Absolutely. They do have little hiccups, not as much, and the thing is, if it does happen, then they tend to try and obviously keep trying to improve things. So there was that failure. I didn't want to take that going into this. Going into that load of support down there. So I left that trade alone. So if you'd have taken it one tick below, you'd have got 6 ticks out of that. So, but in all fairness, it's just dangerous, especially as we've come off the bottom. You don't know it's going to do that. We could just have 2 legs down, and it could come down, and But I think at the moment we're clearly just ranging. You can see it down here, and at the moment, whether you call that the tops and this is a breakout, but you're long again. Yeah. I mean, we've touched these bottoms and pushed up, haven't we? So I think, the chance of getting up to the midline or to the bottom of this, whichever one you want to call it, I think is pretty reasonable. But it is choppy and sideways. And it just makes things, I tend to stay out of this. I tend to avoid bottoms. I mean, it would have worked, but it's not my forte, put it this way, picking tops and bottoms. I think my skills as a trader are at a level now where I can build an account and make money, but I still have to be sensible and avoid certain ones. And I find picking tops sometimes can be a bit hit and miss. Personally, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I think if we do, push up here, I think sometimes you're better off waiting for a lower high rather than just if you took that short there, yeah, it worked. But what I tend to do is, instead of taking that, because it could trigger you and push up, I tend to wait for a lower high. So we've had a push down, a pull back, and then another drop, which is usually a better indication we're going lower. I don't think it was a terrible place to take a long, to be honest with you. The Apex website says, yeah, it's not. It does say that, but there's always 50% off if there's no other offers on. So at the moment, for the rest of the day, up until 4:59 Eastern Standard Time, it's 80% off. So a trade, an evaluation will cost you $33. What I'm guessing then we're going to go back up to $71, 71%, which moves it up to about $45. So yeah, never. I've got a code. Where is it down here? UKFT in capitals. Put that in where it says. I'll show you quickly. Make sure. I'll show you. I'll just show you. So make sure. So this is my dashboard here. So if you want to take an evaluation, Rhythmic and Tradeovate. So if you click Tradeovate and then go down to the 50, and then you've got to tick a bunch of boxes, put your coupon there, and if you put my coupon in, UKFT, or anybody else's coupon, it'll, when you come to the billing, it'll reduce the price to $33. But they always say full price. Yeah, the 8% comes off, but it always says the full price. It's never the full price anymore. It's at most it'll be half of that. So if in doubt, just ask someone, but make sure, because you can click Rhythmic or Tradeovate. Make sure you click Tradeovate, check it, double check it, because if you cock it up, they tend to not sort it out for you. Yeah, you've got two options. If you pass, when you pass this, let's be positive. When you pass the evaluation, you've got two options. You can either pay an $85 fee per month, or you can pay a $140 one-off fee. So if you believe that you can keep that PA account going for over 30 days, you're better off paying the one-off fee. And if you've got multiple accounts and you keep them going for months, what you don't want to be doing is paying $85 every month. But yeah, but always make sure you use a code. Mine's down there. If you use it, great. But you can use anyone's code, really. You all get the same sort of discount off. But make sure you put that in. And then make sure you put Tradeovated and not Rhythmic. So check and double check. If in doubt, ask. There are... I appreciate that if you do that. It doesn't cost you anything more. But I get a bit of commission from Apex. But check and double check. If you're not sure, ask, because there are a few Facebook groups out there. But if you go onto my channel, my email address is there. I get emails all the time from people in this group, from other traders, asking questions or saying they found it tough or giving me bits of hint and advice. So I've got no issues. If you ever want to Facebook Messenger me or email me, I got no issues at all. I can talk trading all day long. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are my work colleagues. We all help each other out, support each other. That's the way it works. So if in doubt, don't take a guess, ask, and we'll help you. But this is about helping each other. We all know this business is tough. It sounds like you've got some experience with trading, so you'll be useful here, so you might be able to help others. So yeah, it's always nice to have some experienced traders here. I've not been trading long myself. I've just been trading a little over 3 years. So I've had my fair share of cock up, shall we put it politely. Okay, right, I'm just going to take a 2-minute break. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. Right. What is going on here? We do just seem to be having a range in all fairness, so exponential. I think it's important to trade sim and be profitable every month or two minimum before buying Apex evaluation. Well, the beauty about buying an evaluation is if you buy an evaluation for $33, you can trade a sim, and what will happen is they'll charge you another $33 at the end of every month. So it's cheaper to do it that way than have to pay the NinjaTrader fee for the account, which I paid $900. So, but what I will say, now I agree with that to a degree, but when you're learning, I would definitely spend a certain amount of time, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, learning to trade first. But then what you have to do, you have to expose yourself with a bit of risk, because that's another section, that's another side of trading which you've got to learn as well. So I would say personally, but I believe Nomad's, he's probably been trading a while, but if you are new, yeah, I would absolutely trade on a sim for 6, 12 months, something like that, until you sort of work out what's going on and you can sort of, make the right decisions. But then, I would introduce an evaluation and just maybe limit it to one a month or something and try and control your emotions. But you have to experience those, that risk to learn, obviously the psychological side of trading, because that's obviously the biggest hurdle. But yeah, they have that 80% off quite often now. It does finish today, and then it will go back up to either 50% off or 71% off. But I'm guessing usually once a month or something, they tend to have offers somewhere around there. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. So we got a leg up, we got a break. Unfortunately, there's no setup. I was hoping we might have a couple of legs and then a push, but trouble is we had the same thing off here. We came up, we had 2 legs back, we had a push up, and then we came down again. So we could do the same here. So okay, now that might be a good option to go long there. Let's have a look.
Order submitted.
Drop down there. Let's have a look. If that does push up bullish, that might be a small risk.
Order submitted.
That's quite a small risk, so I think that's okay to take. Leg up there. It is a second entry long. See how we get on. It's quite a small risk, $150 risk. It's only a 6-tick risk, which I think's okay. Now, I have increased my risk to 3 points. The only issue is we are finding some support along there, so we'll see how we get on. But that's a nice channel, that, so I think there's a good chance we may have a leg and a leg. We'll see. That would take us up to about there, which I'm comfortably out of, so we'll see. But it's quite a small risk. I like that. It is a higher low. Second entry short, higher low. There'll be some stops there, some there, maybe there, so there's quite a bit of support over here, so keep an eye on this.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm just going to come out for 2 points. Now, I did say I'd leave my risk at 3 points, but there's quite a bit of support there, so I think it's probably not worth. Everything's shut down. This, in all fairness, there is some support along there, so I think the sensible thing is to get out there. We got touch, 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 and now a touch. So it's a nice trade. It's good for 2 points. I just don't think it's worth going longer for that because there is a lot of support. I did say I was going to go for 3 points, but I've decided to go for 2 on this one. I certainly won't go for lower than 2 points, put it that way. But that's a nice trade. We've got a nice channel up there. 2 legs down, sort of clear second entry long, higher low. But the way that's struggling, it just might not be sensible to take the 3. Let's see if it would have made it. So I got in right on the nail. There's 3. Let's take that down a bit. Right on there it was. So we'd have to push higher. I dare say there's going to be... I don't know. Yeah, the way it's stalled in there, it may come back here, see, to try and go up again if it does. And I don't know how strong that will be, but that's basically finished right on its high. I don't like the way it's stalling there, so I think getting out for 2 points, especially at these highs, is worth it because we've done this, haven't we? It does seem to be pushing up, so we've been doing this for a while now. Sideways, push up, sideways, push down, sideways. So you just don't know. It may push up and go sideways, but if it gets a tick above there, it's probably going to work. So, but that's fine. I've got no issues with that. Yeah, okay. So that comfortably made 3 points. You know, I did say at the start, sometimes you've got to trust it and just let it go, and it would have worked. But to me personally, we've been up there 3 times, and going longer out the top of the range, I think is a bit risky personally. But it did work. But that's okay. I certainly, at the end of the day, most of the time I get out for 150 on average. My average profit per trade is around about $160. So even going for a minimum of 2, I think is sensible. So second entry long, higher low. Second entry long, stroke higher low. Higher low. Higher low, plus 2 points. So nice trade that, leg up, 2 legs down, higher low, second entry short. I am Apex Trader. Excellent. We'll start at it tomorrow. Yeah. What you've got to do is follow the Apex. You'll get an email. You've got to download Rhythmic. But any questions, ask. You can email me out of hours. I don't mind. You know, I'll answer emails or what's it if I wake up in the middle of the night. I've got no issues. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a bit obsessed with trade, so I can talk shop morning, noon and night. So I've got no issues. You can private message me or email me anytime and I'll answer. I got no problem at all with that, so don't hold back if you need something. Why isn't that selected? I'd rather you ask rather than you make a mistake, because I'm going to feel guilty then. Oh, sorry. You don't download Rhythmic, do you, with Trade of 8? Someone else, they'll tell you anyway. You'll get that in your email. Check your spam as well, because it may go into your spam folder. There's me saying Rhythmic. It's a great trade set up. I took it for 2 points. Good on you. I did say about going for 3 points, but in all fairness, I think 3 points may have been a bit risky because, I mean, really, if we're trading in a range, you know, obviously you want to be shorted in taking your profits here. So you want to be taking your profits at the top. And I got out, where was that? Well, yeah, literally 2 ticks from the top. So it made sense to get out there. Yeah, it went on to make the 3 points, and I think most of the time it does. But I'll probably stick to those 3 points a little bit more later down the line when I get, you know, build the accounts a bit. But when I'm just coming back from a $400 loss on Friday, I think you just want to get what you know tends to work. But this probably, there is a leg and a leg, a bearish bar which is triggered there. So you don't know whether it's going to come back here, but at the moment we're up here twice, so it doesn't really make sense going, you know, holding along up as high as this. Not only that, these days can be, it is a range day, but it's actually moving okay. It's not, it's, you know, we got a leg and a leg, and a pull up and a leg and a leg and a leg and a leg. It is an easier range day to read, but we all know how punishing range days can be, so sometimes it's nice to get in and out. If you can get in and get a trade on a day like this, I don't think you've done too bad. Especially when you see that bearish bar in there, this one, I'm kind of glad I got out. Yeah, it went up for about another 6, maybe a 1.5 or something. Where did I actually get out? So it went up for about another, well, 1.25 you'd have got. So I think I got out the right time there. I mean, if the highs were up here, then I wouldn't have hesitated, but to try and take the full 3 points there. But when it, you know, if I'd have still been in that now and it's coming back to you, I'd be thinking, why the hell didn't I come out of these highs? Oh my God, I went to the WC and my shit cost me a missing trade. I've had that so many times. I didn't even once think about keeping a bottle with me just in case. Yeah, it's frustrating that. Yeah, mate, you've got to take a break. You've got to go to the loo. So don't beat yourself up. But in fact, I mentioned that to someone and somebody sent me a picture. I'll see if I can find it. It was on Amazon. Where is it? Yeah, someone sent me a picture of one of these. Yeah, there you go. So if you've got a problem or you're concerned, just pick yourself up one of those. Someone sent me a picture and he said apparently it's got a wide neck and the neck's luminous as well, so you can be in the dark. But yeah, get yourself one of them if you're concerned. But now you got to take a break. It's just one of those things. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, if in doubt, keep one of them by your desk. So, is there a bigger channel there? Maybe. Just maybe. Yes, that's another option as well. Obviously, the trouble is you've got to put up with other people using it at the same time. So that measured move is getting in my way a bit, so I'm just going to pop that there as a measured move instead. So get rid of it. So it's a nice trade that I think. We got down to the EMA, moved across, nice high low, and the way that took off nice, you generally think that would be a good entry. As I mentioned earlier, good setups do tend to work, and Mac will mark that 100%. And I think the good thing is as well is we've got close to those highs and there's a nice bearish bar there as well. So there may even be people trading that thinking they're coming down to the bottom and it sort of tricked. Mind, it did come down for 2 points and then a higher low. But same again, we are stalled in here, so I think I chose to get out of the right place. The fact that it went on for another point and a quarter is by the by, really, because if I'd have taken another point, it would have gone on an extra tick, and that to me is cutting it a bit too fine, I think. So it's a funny old day, isn't it, today? Lots of sideways stuff. Just trying to think if there was any other trades I could see. Some may have taken that one, actually, the leg down. Well, the way that came down, you would think that would be a pretty good entry. It was a hidden second entry. We clearly got a leg up and a bit of sideways and a leg up. I think at the time, didn't I have mine like this? So that was the first break on what was potentially a channel. So if we come down and we push up, you don't know whether it's going to trap you and then push up, make a new high. So I think that's why I left that. I mean, it looked like a spike in a channel. It was looking relatively bullish. We're clearly making higher highs and higher lows. So that first break, you don't know whether it's going to go. We sort of had a bit of a micro channel, didn't we? Micro channel down, break new low. You don't know whether we're going to push up, trigger, and leg up. I missed it live, but beautiful trade. Yeah, I think that was pretty right. That was. We got a nice channel, nice tight channel. Fits really nice, doesn't it? The only concern I had was with this. It goes up off the bottom, but then comes down. But what I will say is that was a nice channel. This was just more of a leg, isn't it? This is more of a nice channel. And that was a break, and we tested it. We came down, price held here, price held here, came down below there and pushed up. I mean, that's basically on its high, isn't it? Yeah, it's a doji, but the fact that it opened right at its high, came right down to its low, and then pushed back up and closed on its high, I think it's a pretty good indicator. We're going to push up, and then obviously we get a nice big bullish bar then, which obviously tells you there's some buy in there. And then obviously that pushed straight and give me those 2 points, didn't it? Yeah, right at the top. So that worked out nice and right at the right place. I think that was a sensible place because you don't want to sit through this then, do you? And another point on top of that would have taken us a tick away from this high, so I think that's cutting a bit too fine. So as much as I want to go for 3 points, I think what I should do is certainly stick to 2 points at least, because that will still give me a little bit more money than the average 1.5 to, well, $160 I usually take on a trade. But that's my point, Nomad C. I'm risking $175 per trade. Yeah, per account. I've got $175 risked on that. I've got $175. I've just made $200 on each account. So effectively, that's made my money back. Obviously, you've got to get that up to $2,600 before you take a payment. But what I've risked, I've just made back in a trade, really. So if you think about it along those lines, it's not too bad. So I think that's hit that measured leg. So we got a leg and a leg. So market seems to be moving quite nicely. We got a leg and a leg. We got a leg and a leg. 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 It's moving quite nicely. And we got a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 point range. A lot of the times it'd be a lot more snappy than this. So let's put that like that again. So yeah, that's a tick off there, a tick off that measured leg, so it may hit it yet. Can you trade the first trade with 2 contracts, and if it wins, take another trade available 1 contract? Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. What a lot of traders do is, if it's a choppy day, I know traders who will trade 2 points or 2 contracts, and if it's a choppy day, they might reduce it down to 1 because obviously, if there's more risk sometimes. I think all Apex are after is people not trying to bend the rules, unfairly. So if I decided to go for 10 contracts and made, I don't know, 5 points, made let's say I made $2,000, and then taking it down to 1 contract for the rest of it to get it up there. I mean, you're clearly trying to break rules there, aren't you? You're clearly trying to get lucky. All I want to see traders doing is trading normally. My average, I think my average daily win is around about the $200-ish. My average daily win. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, kids. My 15-year-old daughter's coming to show me a new mug they bought. I know people can get so excited over new mugs. I forgot what I was saying now. That's probably not a bad thing. Oh yeah, talking about the mounts. Yeah, they're just, people aren't breaking the rules really. So if you get a massive big run on 10 contracts, $2,000, and then you do 1 contract a day for the rest of the days, they're just not after people. Yeah, my average daily win is around about $200. I think my highest is 3. Excuse me. Let's have a look. So if I look at my account summary, okay, so let's put that down there. So there's my account summary. So there's my account summary. So this is 0. Obviously I had that 1 day, but that's the only red day I've had. So that day this is taking away fees. So about 235. There, just over 200, just below 200. 351 is my highest. That was a $42 one. It was a short day, that one. 140, 90, 100. So my average, I suppose, is around about the $200-ish, I'd say, somewhere around about there. But I've hit me 10 days, but obviously that was that big loss I had. 400, that was well, including fees, a fraction under $500, but it does happen. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have taken that last trade. It was a bit lame, to be honest with you. I can't even remember where it was. It wasn't that one, because I can't for the life of me remember where it was now. Well, obviously it wouldn't have been here. I'm pretty sure it was here. The bars look a bit different. Perhaps they are. Pretty sure we had that one bit, and then I thought we're coming down again to the bottoms. Oh yeah, will it show on here, will it? Oh, that was it, yeah. Let's have a look. So that was my entry, wasn't it? Yeah, these bars were different. I mean, that looks even better, lower high. It was 2 legs up. My entry was about here. There was a bigger bar here. And I ended up losing 4 points. Stop was above here. I can't think leg and leg. I can't remember now. These bars look a bit different. It was a bit more congested, but it was something like this. I mean, there's a second entry short there. But that looks a bit better, to be fair, but it didn't look as good as that. We looked like we had 2 legs, but the one bar, it was clearly a risky trade anyway. And at the end of the day, I probably should have done it, but I've been trading about 3.5, nearly 4 hours at the time. So I think probably, I mean, I had a win and a loss that day, so I was only down $25 at the time. But sometimes, I think you've got to forgive yourself for making a mistake and taking maybe a bit of a naive trade, a bit of a naive trade or something like that. I always used to be all or nothing. If I messed up, I just used to go on tilt. But as long as I take what I believe to be a valid setup, even if it is a slightly more aggressive one, it's okay to take those, I think. You may take a slightly more aggressive one if it's a small risk. That was a 6-tick risk, a tick above below. That was, I was risking $150. The trade I lost on Friday was $400, so it just goes to show it was a smaller risk. So if it was maybe not a brilliant signal bar, but still you think the setup's right, that would be a little bit more, I have paid the $40, open up Trader 8 in sim mode. Do I now open an account? What you find is if you click in account, you'll see your account, just select it. And then, right, you're not on NinjaTrader, are you? You're on, what are you on? Trader 8. So yours is going to be a bit different, yeah. You know how to trade Trader 8, don't you? So what I would do as well is Trader 8. Yeah, see, I have my rhythmic positions. I don't understand how Trader 8 works, so just make sure you've got your positions tab open here. You'll probably know how to trade all this anyway, won't you? I know how to trade it because I'm used to this platform. You're used to that, but yeah, if you look in accounts and then just set your strategy or however you do it, and you're away basically. Just open up a Trader 2 out the way just to check everything's working, and you're away to go. So you've got a $2,500 drawdown. Now, all the drawdown really affects is people who take big moves. So if you took a trade here and you were expecting to get up here, if it goes up $1,000, so does your drawdown. Now, if you take the $1,000, that's fine. But if it comes down and you get out for zero, you've lost $1,000 of your drawdown. I think you can work that out, can't you? So it only really goes against the people sometimes moan about the drawdown is people who tend to go for a lot more of a swing, whereas I tend to go for around about the 2 points. So if it goes up 1.5 points and comes down, my trailing drawdown's gone up $150, but as soon as I make that $150 back on the next trade, that fills in the gap. So, but yeah, it's pretty quick actually. So just make sure everything's working okay. Make sure it shows in your account as your PA. Set your contract size and all that. You know how to do that in Trader 8, don't you? And then just, open up one, make sure everything's working, and you're away to go. Oh, sorry, it's not PA, it's evaluation, is it? Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so what you've got to try and do now is hit $3,000. That's your target. Now, can we go up now? At the moment, mate, I'm not. There is a possibility, but at the moment, this is just sideways to me. Now, at the moment, you can trade it and pass it in one day. Personally, I wouldn't do that. Because if you've got to make $3,000 and you've got a $2,500 drawdown, you've got to make about 120% profit in one day. And the only way you do that is by gambling, really, and taking big risks. So it's not worth it, really. You sound like you know what you're doing. So I tend to go for around about 4 contracts, but it depends how you trade. But I do risk a bit more. If I was trading 4 contracts, I'd say my average loss is 2.5-3 points, so I'd be risking $600. So I'd have to lose 4 in a row. So I don't mind risking a little bit more, but if you don't pass it today, which I'd say I probably wouldn't personally, you have to do a minimum of 7 days and a minimum of 7 actual trading days. So if you passed it in 4 days and you got over 3,000, you can do a 1-tick micro for the others. The rules that apply to the evaluations is nothing really. You can do whatever you like. You can trade two of them, one long, one short at the news, and if it goes up and you win, that's fine. There's no real rules on an evaluation. The only rules you've got is you've got the $2,500 drawdown, you've got to hit $3,000 profit, and you've got to trade 7 days, whether it be 3,000 in one day and then one tick micro. Past two evaluations today, 50 grand to me, 14 days. Yeah, absolutely. In all fairness, if you're going to try and make over 100% profit in a day, the only way you make that is to take a big risk, which really is otherwise sort of known as gambling, I suppose, really. Some people do it. I have done it myself. I tend to not do it anymore because, but I know there's a bit of a craze at the moment that if we've got a news event, they'll buy with one contract long on this chart and have an opposite chart up there and buy short and sell short and set their profit, say 10 contracts and set their profit to six points. And if the market shoots up, we'll win one and lose one. I know that's tends to be popular at the moment, but there's no real rules on an evaluation. The pair count there are. They don't want you taking the mickey, really. But just be relatively sensible. Just trade normally like you would. They know the difference between someone who knows what they're doing as a trader and someone who's taking big risks to try and make money and then reducing to try and just make the days count. So that's clearly made. What's it? So let's see if there is a bigger channel working up here. I suspect there is. Trouble is, I don't really want to go long here. One, way too far from the main. Two, what looks like the top of a range. It could trigger it and come straight back down. Yeah, so another reason not to go long there is on the NQ. We're actually right at the tops here, so if it is going to reverse, this is where it's going to do it. So we got a leg up. Yeah, I think it is just chopped today. Whether it will make a break and push up remains to be seen. But if I look on the daily, again, in all fairness, it's looking like a bit of got a bit of sideways again, haven't we? We had the same here, push up, so that looks to me like a little bit of a bit of congestion. So it may go up a bit more. We're more or less at the top. Then it may come down tomorrow. We do seem to be having a little bit of that. So we're not far off where it could potentially come down. So it's hard to say. I mean, it could rocket up, push straight out, but at the moment it is going a bit sideways. So that's triggered, and I don't like the way it's holding there. But best of luck to you, Nomad. Sounds like you can trade already, so this just might be a formality to you, but don't hold back if you've got any questions. I don't use Tradeovate, but I can help you out in any of the general rules. And I'm here every day for about 3 hours anyway. So, but if anyone wants to message me, private message me or email me, I ain't got a problem with that at all. I'm quite happy to chat about trading. I get people, giving me advice, asking me questions, all sorts of stuff. Because sometimes, when you're stuck on your own at home in a room, it's, we haven't got the luxury of working in an office or a bank or in, any type of investment place where we got people to, to ask questions and to, find out things. So I got no issues with chatting about trading. But just keep in mind this 80%. It's not so much the 1 day. You'd have to pass that in a day, and the day's half gone, really, isn't it? So I wouldn't even attempt to do that anyway. But the 80% does finish it's usually midnight. For some reason, it's 4:59. So basically, when the market, officially closes for its hour, the deal goes. I'm guessing it'll revert immediately to 50% off, but I'll be surprised if I don't get an email saying it's 71. They tend to like that 71%. There were times where they used to extend it, but they've seemed to reduce their discounts quite a bit lately. 80% I think we're going to continue to have. I don't understand what is the 1 day. So normally to pass an evaluation, you need to trade for 7 days, but the offer they've got on just today is you can pass it in a day. Yeah, you've got 7 days minimum to pass it. So if you take 10 days or 20 days, bearing in mind if you take a month, they will recharge you another $33. But you have to have traded for a minimum of 7 days. But the offer they got on at the moment, they're reducing that to 1 day. So basically, they're saying there's no minimum days. So if you buy your evaluation today and pass it before the market closes officially for its hour, you'll get an email tomorrow offering you a PA account. So there's 1 minimum day, but that's only available today. It's been for about the last week, but today is the last day. So, but in all honesty, if you've got to try and make 120% profit, you're going to be taking a big risk and you may lose it. That's the downside with having cheaper valuations, because people do it, and I've done it myself. But, you know, take 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. But after today, you have to have had one trade in, even if it's a 1 tick micro, per day for 7 days. So if I pass it in 4 days, I'll just take a 1 tick micro, which I'll either buy it or sell it. Doesn't matter. You lose about $1.50. It's neither in or there really. And I'll do that for the remaining 3 days or 5 days. And usually a couple of 3 hours after the market closes, you'll get an email where you've got to then pay your fee. So if you can trade, I'd say pay the $140. If you think you're likely to blow the account up, or it's your first and there's a good chance you may, you might want to opt for the $85. But if you keep it, if you pay $85 and you keep the account for 30 days, you'll get charged again. How many contracts do you trade with your evals? Well, I trade two contracts on my PAs and usually 4 on my evals. I trade a little bit more. Why? They don't stress me out at all, and I don't mind risking a bit more. And the evaluations cost me $33. And if I'm trading 4 contracts, let's say at the moment the ATR is low. If you're talking, let's say you're talking $250 risk on 2 contracts, I'm risking $500. So I've still got to lose 4 trades in a row to lose $2,000. So I just don't lose 4 trades in a row. 2 trades in a row. On the very rare occasion, I don't think I've lost 3 trades in 1 day for a long time. It does happen rarely that I'll lose 2, but I think the chances are maybe 90% I'm going to pass it, trading 4 contracts, and I'll pass it a bit quicker, and then I can get on to trying to make some money out of it personally. But another reason I like 4 is you can trade 3, maybe for 2 points, and then maybe have 1 as a runner. I went back to a lifetime, but I've become very consistent. So absolutely, if you can keep an account for over 30 days, you're better off paying the $140. Now, when I say $140, it's $140 for the $50,000 account. It goes up a little bit as you get up to the 75, the 100, and so on. But the 50, in all fairness, if you watch that guy Vince who withdrew $800,000 last year sometime through Apex, he has $2,300,000 accounts, but he says he doesn't often trade over 3 contracts. So what's the point? You know, $50,000. Once your drawdown stops and it grows away exactly the same as it does on a $300,000 account. So if you got $10,000 in your account, it doesn't matter whether you got a $300,000 account or a $50,000 account, you still got the same amount of drawdown. So it's much easier to pass. Vince, they've got him working for Apex now. Let me find his He's a trader. So look. I'll find it. That's it there. There he is there. That's the guy there. He got paid out. He withdrew with $800,000 out of his accounts in one payment. That was about a year ago. But he said, listen to that. It's interesting, his journey. It's on Apex Funding, but just click on Apex and Vince and that'll pop up. But that's the guy there. But he said he nicknamed himself the Reset King. So, he went through. Yeah. Interesting to watch. Quite a switched on guy. But interesting to watch. So we're still in this channel now. So we've had that leg up and sideways. We could have a break, 2 legs down, and then some more push up. Although it's a sideways day, it's still fitting relatively nice and it's not too congested. I'd rather have a day like this than Friday. That was all over the bloody place. At least this is up and sideways. We've got a little bit of sideways here, another leg up sideways, another leg down sideways. So it's a lot clearer today, although it's congested, but a clear. Yeah, so it's very much sideways up, sideways down, sideways up. Makes sense we get some sideways. But that's quite a nice looking channel. So if we can get 2 legs of correction, you've still got to be careful going along because we've got very close to the tops. So there is that possibility we could come down. Yeah, so that comfortably went for 3 points, wouldn't it? So if I'd have left that, that would have worked. My slight issue I had there was going along into there. It just didn't feel natural. Yeah, it was a really nice setup, that. Very clear, leg up, 2 legs back, high or low. We don't often see as nice a setups as that sometimes. Spend a few days before we find something really nice and obvious sometimes. I wouldn't hesitate to jump in that every day of the week. Excuse me a sec. Okay. So we've had actually a little break out of this, so we could push higher. Now, let's have a look on the NQ. We have come up to the top. We've broken a bit higher, so trouble is, it's one of those dilemmas, isn't it? If we get a good second entry long, do you go long into this? It doesn't make sense, really. Although it does look like a push-up and a bull flag, you'd expect to get up about the same distance. Something like that. Which should get us above these. I mean, it looks very similar to what we've had over the last day. We had that push-up, and we've had that little downtrend, and then another push-up. Very similar there. Push-up, we've had that little bit of a downtrend, and another push-up, and the same here, push down, little bit of an uptrend and then down again. 40 points per day per account. This would have had average of 14 points. Well, what he said, well, the thing is, he could have, another thing he could have done, I thought about that, is he said he trades about 3 contracts and he aims to get each account to about $1,000 a day. That would be $20,000 a day. But what he could have done was taken so much money out per month and let the rest build, and then take some out in a massive lump sum and use it to trade his own money. Put it this way, if you can take $800,000 out of account, that's a nice chunk of money to trade yourself. $800,000, you would have to pay Apex $80,000 out of that. Now, would you want to pay him $80,000 if you could earn that sort of money? I doubt it. If he's making $1,000 a day per account on average, depends on how he trades. That's $20,000 on 20 accounts per day. 10 days, 200,000. That's $400,000 a month. Now, if he's making $1,000 a day per account, 10 days, 10. That's nearly $20,000 per account. He can only take $2,000 out twice a month. So if he's traded over 3 months, he's going to have a ton of money in there, and it might be a case of he's just withdrawn it and he's trading his own account. I don't really know. Yeah, it was interesting to watch. He certainly sounds like a switched-on kind of guy that knows what he's doing. Okay, so there's just one leg down. Can't take that, really. We are very close to these highs. I think it's risky going along into there. If we have a leg and a leg down here, then just go for 100 a day per account. Good. Yeah, when you think about it like that, absolutely. 100 a day, that's 2,000 a week, 10 accounts. Yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? Yeah, you don't need to go for a lot. See, I tend to go for, let's say I go for 2 points, that's $200. Let's say I do that even every other day. You know, it's $2,000 a month. You have 20 accounts, that's $40,000 a month. $40,000 a month, you're in about the top 1.5% of earners in the country. You can have a nice life on that. And the beauty is, once you're in that sort of money, you could also trade your own account. You could have another account or a couple of accounts with 20, 30, 40,000 of your own money in, adding an extra 3 to 5 accounts here or there. When you can trade and you start earning money, I've been told this by a couple of traders, money will just follow you then. You can't seem to stop. Because obviously once you've got money to reinvest, you reinvest it in yourself. And you just add to it. And I know traders as well who use this piece of software. What's it called? Can't remember what it's called. So they can trade multiple prop firms as well. They can trade on some on Bullanox, some on Top Pick Trader, or some on whatever the others. You can trade multiple prop firms at the same time. Things like Replicanto enable you to copy trade accounts, you know, and contracts within the same prop firm, but this other piece of software, I can't remember what it's called now, enables you to trade multiple prop firms at the same time. So if we can get a second entry long here, I'm tempted to take this. That to me looks like not a bad place to go long. What I will say is we've broken above this, come back and pushed up again. So this to me looks like we may be getting this other leg. But we're close to the very tops here, so might not be wise. But if the NQ comes down, we're at the top here, see now. If the NQ comes down like this, obviously it'll come down a bit further. We may get this other leg here, leg and a leg. It's struggling to get up at the moment, and the NQ, we're right at the top. We've just ticked above this one, so I would think it would be possible that would come down, which then would create another leg here before it pushes higher. So you can copy your Ninja Trader trades to Forex, can you really? I have copied from Ninja Trader. Interesting. It is amazing what you can do, isn't it? Technology amazing. Well, the trouble is, it could just be a failed breakout of the range, and it may come back in. So, see if we can get a second entry long. So there's a lower high there. If you're trading this, if you're shorting this, as shorting the top of the range, there's a lower high there. Let's see if that triggers and then pushes up. I still think it's a bit risky going long into this. Yeah, we're too far from the EMA on the NQ. We're a bit sideways right above the top, so we could come down for another leg, which may send this down, which is a good thing. Leg and a leg. See if we can hold for a long here. Still a bit nervous because of these tops, but we've only really been up here once. See, that long there came right through the EMA and pushed back up. That hasn't. We're very close to these highs. We're right at the highs on the NQ. We're about to break the highs of the day, but I wouldn't want to go. There's no way on God's earth I'd go along there. Just too far from the EMA. It might work, but I definitely wouldn't go along here. I think this has got more chance of coming down, at least to here, which would knacker that. I might get caught in a failed second entry long, so I'm not taking that. If we came right back here and that bit of bar was sat on top of there, I may be more interested in that, but at the moment I'm just sitting tight. It might work, probably. It's too close to the highs for me to get in all fairness. There's a bit of support around here, so I just don't like it. We're congested on the daily. We're right at the top on the daily, so I think that's a bit risky. Yeah, that's looking sceptical now all of a sudden. It is a second entry long. Trouble is, I'm not a massive lover of that bar. I'd much prefer that down. and the bottom of there sat on there if I was going to go long. It's so close to the highs. And it's ranged all day, so yeah, I mean, if you took that now, you do not want to be seeing that. There'll be some stops there and some there quite likely. So, I mean, the way this is forming up could bring this down properly into this, the meat of this channel. Now it looks just congested. Okay, second entry long. Let's see if that stop holds. There's a big bearish bar formed on the NQ. See, when I saw that push there, there's no way you'd want to go long there. As a Pats trader, you want to be down here. And a lot of the times when you see this going up, people get excited. You know why? Because I've done it myself. I go, oh, it's going long, and I jump in, and all of a sudden it turns, and it flipping does it right on the nail. Yeah, it's a bullish bar, but it's quick selling, and then it goes flat. But I would not want to be going long up here. Why? Because I'd be concerned about that. So as much as that second entry was a second entry, that bar is just not a strong enough position for me personally. It may work. Too close to the highs, and the fact that I've got another chart to look at just to give me that little bit of extra context. There you go. So if you'd have took that second entry long, it would have triggered you and stuffed you. If you're in long there, I get why you might have done. Just too close to the highs. It may hold that sometimes if you get a good solid bar, it holds. But that one was just a weak position. And market just tends to just lap them up. I doubt you'd have even got a few ticks off that. Would you? So if you took it there, yeah. Even if you'd have took it there, it would have to push through there to trigger. So you wouldn't even got 3/4 of a point. So it's just a no-no. That was leg. Now there's obviously a possibility of a leg, and it still might go up. We're back to the EMA now on the NQ, so I'm not saying it's not going to, but that to me looked like just a bit of a bad egg. We got a leg up, we got a leg down, maybe another leg down, so it may go a bit sideways and then push up. I think there's a good chance having this leg up and sideways that we may get another leg. Sort of had the same, haven't we? Push up, sort of a downward sort of section, and then another big strong leg up. And same here, down, a little bit of congestion and a pullback. Up, a little bit of congestion and a pullback, and then another leg up. So I think there's a fair chance we get a leg up, but it's catching it at the right time. And in all fairness, this is just a range, really. We've broken out the range, so, you know, as we know, if you trade Pats, most breakouts fail. So whether we're just at the top of a channel there, that's just as likely, which means it's got more chance of coming down. Yeah, look at that. So touch twice there, touch there. So that makes just as much sense, to be fair. You could go here, but even if you go here, probably a failed breakout. The interview with Vince is just about advertised. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him. I've seen his name on the payout list. You can look at the payout list, and it is accurate. I know because I've been on it 4 times myself. So I think he did it. But yeah, you just never know. But I know people have had big payouts, because if you go onto the Apex website, you can look at the payout list, and it does show all the payouts. I know a few people have been on it, and I've been on it 4 times myself. So I doubt they'd have bullshitted about that. I don't know. You never know, though, do you? You never know. I don't know. It's just funny how he's talking about Apex. Yeah, he actually works for Apex now. So whether they've seen he's a skilled trader and he's making money and they've employed him and they're paying him a bit, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? So we've come back to the email on the NQ and we've pushed up. So is it going to continue up? Who knows? We've had a touch here, touch here. It may just retest this before it drops. So I'm not thinking about going long just yet. There's no setup for going long there anyway. That bar there did hold. Sometimes a strong bar will hold, but it's only a first entry, so it's not a good setup there anyway. We have pushed up, so maybe we may get this second leg. So depending on how this operates now, I think there may be a wider channel that kind of works. So let's see now if we can bounce off the top and push up. So we may get this other leg. I don't know, would you put that there and there? That's the biggest pullback, isn't it? It's not as clear, that, isn't it? You may put it there. In fact, I don't really think it matters, to be fair. It's the same place, isn't it? Let's put it about here somewhere. I mean, you put it to these lows, wouldn't you? Somewhere around about there anyway, but that's where it does continue up. Trouble is, on the daily, we're getting very close to highs again, so you don't know whether it's going to turn tail and come down. It may go up to here and come straight back down. I mean, look at that one yesterday. Friday, it pushed right up, didn't it? It ended up coming down. And that one, so it's a bit hard to say. We've got a bearish one, a bullish one, a neutral one, a bullish one. And on the NQ, we've had this channel up with a break. Depending on how you look at that, and a new high. So it's hard to know what that's going to do now. Okay, I think I'm going to knock it on the head there, actually. Kind of a nice channel, that, though, depending on whether you go from that red bar, maybe. Touch, 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 touch. Fits really nice at the top. Probably as you're right at the top now, you'd want to come down, wouldn't you? I'm just going to sit tight for a few minutes, see if we do get a pullback to here. I like the way we're skimming the top of there and it's going sideways, which tells me we're probably going to have a pullback. Trouble is, you don't know whether we're just going to fade the breakout. At the moment, though, I like the way it's fitting there. It's fitting actually really nice. touch, 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 touch. Actually fits at the top better than the bottom. Well, equally was good, actually. It's a really nice channel, that. Fits really nice. So we're right at the top, so it makes sense we're going to come back. You don't want to be buying there. Yeah, I'm starting to think we've not had a break of the NQ. No, that looks better. I've adjusted that slightly. I had that like that, and that actually fits nice. Yeah, touch, 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 beautifully, just as nice actually. So we got a leg up and a leg up. So you don't know whether this is just going to fade and it's going to come back in, do you? But I like the channel. I think if we can get a good entry, a good second entry long, I think there's a good chance that's going to push higher. Much better to get out the top and then bounce a few times off the top of the range. I want two legs back there. I want it to look nice. You done, are you? Yeah, you take it easy, Kev. I'll speak to you tomorrow, bud. My biggest goal of the year is to not watch the charts all day. Yeah, I've had to. I think it's good to have that separation from work to home life, because if you've got a normal full-time job, you don't go to work all day, come home, have your dinner, and then go back to work, do you? So I usually look in the evening. I'll usually look at Mac's channel. I'll look at a couple of the Facebook ones. Usually I see how Sam's done and Moo. I don't think he's trading at the moment. And that's it usually. But yeah, I kind of walk away now and try and forget trading if I can. I just look out of curiosity later just to see. Yeah, but a lot of the times I used to come back and trade later. But in all fairness, it's quite stressful, this. And I think really 3 hours is probably enough. And if you can get one trade that I've done, you know, if you do that once a day over a week, it's $1,000 a week. It's more than you need, even if you're doing half of that. So I think 3 hours is enough. But what I find is Friday, when I took that trade, it was slightly congested. I felt really knackered after. And what I probably should have done is said, I feel tired. We're at the end of a long day and, you know, end of a long week. I'm going to finish now and not take something stupid. But, you know, it happens, but you learn from it and you slowly filter the crap out. You know, just because I'm starting to get somewhere doesn't mean all of a sudden it's going to become easy. You've still got to think and make the right decisions. And I think sometimes you've got to say enough's enough. I'm tired now. Let's not push me luck. Freedom. Absolutely. I'm here, you know, with my daughter to get her to school in the morning. I'm here for breakfast in the morning. I haven't done the last couple of weeks, but I usually go to the gym and I do the shopping and, you know, it's great. It is nice not to have to go out. I mean, UK, we're in winter at the moment, although it's been mild the last week or two. We had a morning -6. My wife went out to work. I defrosted the car for her and then she shot off and I sat and had a nice warm mug of tea. So it is, yeah, it's definitely got... I heard someone say that trading is like the perfect business. You need literally zero overheads, apart from a computer and internet connection, which about 3/4 of the population in the world's got anyway. And once you can trade and you've got the skills, you're never going to lose a day's work in your life. You're never going to be made redundant. You're never going to get sacked. And you can trade from anywhere in the world. So how many businesses do you need a computer for or an internet connection? There's nothing. So when you think about it like that, it's perfect, really. You know, it's got great benefit. It's hard to do. It's hard to learn to change that mindset. But when you do, it's riddled with benefits. It really is. I mean, literally, you can up sticks and move wherever you want. I mean, you can go and sit at McDonald's all day and trade if you like. I have considered it. but you know, once you start earning some decent money, you can go wherever you want. My dream is Dubai. Whether it'll happen, I've got a 15-year-old daughter that's adamant it's not going to. But you never know. We'd holiday out there first, I think. But you got to have a dream, haven't you? But you have got that benefit that you can trade from wherever you want. I know traders that go on holiday and they'll go for an extra week. Wife will be on the beach and he'll trade for a couple of hours in his room and that pays for your extra week. Just think about tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be happy. I have made so far. I will shut down. Have a great day. Yeah, you too, bud. Absolutely. You finish green. You're done for the day. Absolutely. It's a perfect excuse to go. If you get a trade in, absolutely. One and done, I think, is a sensible way of trading. Absolutely. See, there is a possibility we might get a second entry long here. My only slight concern, it's a bit congested and it's above here. And right up until now, it's the first time we've broken above it and it could fail. Most breakouts fail. There is a nice channel there, so it could work. But it's congested and that makes it a little bit more risky. So on that note, I'm going to finish myself. I think that's a good policy, that is. Up for the day, let's finish. So that is me. So don't forget that finishes, that 80% off finishes in... Oh, you guys know, don't you? Your Eastern Gut time. What is it now? It's about... Look, it's a few hours, isn't it? It's about another 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Have a look. Yeah, 4 hours and 23 minutes. So if you do want one, before it goes back up to, it'll probably go to 71%, but that still has an extra $15. So if you do want one, you've got about 4 hours. I mean, the 8% off's attractive for me, not really the passing one day. Some people do it, but personally, you're going to blow a lot more doing it that way. But my code's there, UKFT in capitals. If you use it or you have done, it's appreciated. So we've had a nice chat today. Well, I've enjoyed today. Not a bad market. It's a bit slow. Nice setup there. I like it when we cover things that we talk about recycling. We talk about psychology. Because it's a subject I enjoy myself at the moment. I feel like I'm starting to get some headway, starting to make some progress. So it's a subject that needs going over from time to time, isn't it? And you know, it helps me talking about it. So hopefully you might have got something out of today. But, you know, so that's it for the day. I'm done. So I appreciate all your comments. Hope you've had a green day. I suspect a few of you got on that, apart from one of you that was in the toilet at the time. But it does happen sometimes. So that's me done. So have a great evening. Don't forget tonight, 4 hours, you got to get that 8% off. So I will be back same time tomorrow. So good start to the week. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll meet up again same time tomorrow. So bye for now.